terrorism.
Nome says the woman shot, Renee Good, had stalked agents, refused to comply with orders, and drove toward the officer. There's a manhunt in Salt Lake City, Utah, for the gunman who opened fire last night outside a church, where inside this man says there was a viewing for his cousin.
That passed away just a couple of days ago, and tragic happened. 4 of my other cousins got shot.
There were 8 people shot in all. 2 died, 3 are in critical condition. Days after the U.S. operation in Venezuela capturing Nicolas Maduro, the leader, there's a vote in the Senate on a war powers resolution pushed by Democrats trying to limit future military action there. Tomorrow, President Trump plans to meet with oil company executives discussing building production back up in Venezuela. Energy Secretary Chris Wright just told Fox Business it's not just the companies helping.
The interim authorities in Venezuela, they're very interested in how they can get their oil industry back going forward again, not only to stabilize and grow production, but to get the corruption out of it.
A spacewalk's been canceled today because an astronaut at the International Space Station suffered what NASA's calling a medical emergency. America's listening to Fox News.
My mother had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD, which means my family members are at greater risk.
I'm Dr. Sada of Doheny UCLA. AMD is the most common cause of severe, irreversible vision loss in older adults. If a healthcare professional suspects AMD, a retina specialist can confirm the diagnosis and work with you on a treatment plan.
Routine eye care can help maintain your vision. Visit geteyesmart.org for more information.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A fatal early morning crash. Another cloudy morning. Right now it's 40 in downtown Indianapolis. Today's high around 60. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:02. One person is dead after a crash on I-70 on the southwest side of Indianapolis. This happened around 4:40 this morning on I-70 eastbound between Sam Jones Expressway and West Minnesota Street. The ramp from Sam Jones was closed. Indiana State Police responded and are now investigating. Indianapolis police are investigating a shooting from this morning on the city's near west side. Officers say they found a man awake and breathing after being shot sometime after 5 in the 100 block of South Trobe Avenue. New legislation coming out on Wednesday would add immigration checks and potentially remove thousands of households from the SNAP program. The Republicans' top priority with Senate Bill 1 would add tough new eligibility requirements for both the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps, and Medicaid, prohibiting anyone other than a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident from using the programs.
I think when it comes to basic necessities like accessing nutritious food, it should be one of the priorities of those who are in the position to create good policy. And my concern is it's only going to create more obstacle to accessing nutritious food. That's
Senate Minority Leader Shelley Yoder. Another bill that's at the Indiana State House is focusing on ultra-processed foods and their impact on children's health. This week, Marion County Republican Julie McGuire introduced House Bill 1137, which prohibits public schools from serving or selling ultra-processed foods or beverages on school days. AAA says the average price of gas today in the state is at $2.71. That's 10 cents below the national average. The Indiana Hoosier men's basketball team getting the job done on the hardwood last night at Maryland. They beat the Terrapins 84-66. That makes for back-to-back wins against Big Ten teams in the new year. Head coach Darren DeVries.
We got off to a slow start tonight, and I thought we took some of the things that maybe
hindered us from coming away with a win in our first 2 road games, and we're able to fix it, which is great to see. A sign of a veteran group.
Lamar Wilkerson's 24 points led the team. IU is back home on Saturday to take on number 10 Nebraska. Elsewhere in the Big Ten on Wednesday, the number 5 Purdue Boilermakers took care of business at Mackey Arena, beating Washington 81-73. And tonight, the Pacers will again try to put an end to their losing streak, which is currently at 13 games. They're in Charlotte to battle the Hornets. With another look at traffic this morning, here is Matt Baer.
All right, Jared, looking at that entrance ramp from Sam Jones Expressway to eastbound 70. That ramp is closed because of the fatal crash you were talking about earlier. You can use the ramp from Holt Road to eastbound 70 in the meantime. Southside northbound 65, stop and go, 7-minute delay. Keystone Avenue into the south split. Crash on the east side, Massachusetts Avenue east of Sherman, and a crash 16th at Kessler. Traffic sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Matt Baer on the 5s at WIBC Traffic.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. 2026 marks our 99th year in business, and we are going to make it the best year yet, and we're starting out with a bang. Now through Monday, we guarantee you the lowest price on every sectional, recliner, mattress, sofas, and more, including Lazy Boy and Tempur-Pedic, plus free delivery, interest-free financing, and cash discounts. Hurry, sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
At Hendricks, our cancer care
is in the details.
When you are with us, and you have our time and you have our energy.
We have a wonderful team of highly trained oncologists, physical therapists, speech pathologists, dietitians.
Always making sure that the patient is the center of the care.
We have excellent nurse navigation that are skilled at identifying barriers to treatment,
as well as expertise from Mayo Clinic.
It is more personal care than just a number.
Visit hendricks.org/cancer.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Increasing clouds for your Thursday. Very mild with some scattered showers this afternoon. A high of 61. Cloudy, scattered showers, a few gusty storms tonight. A low of 56. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Here's an idea, and I want everybody to stay with me. Stop breaking the law. If you don't want to have encounters with the authorities, stop breaking the law. And if you have an encounter with the authorities, just do what they tell you to do. It doesn't matter if you want to or not. And if they're doing something wrong, that can get adjudicated and fleshed out as time goes on. But stop breaking the law. And if you have an encounter with the authorities, be they your local police department or the state police or federal authorities or whoever, just do what they tell you to do. 93 WIBC, it's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Of course, we're talking about this shooting that took place yesterday in Minneapolis. Now, I assume most people at this point have seen this, but if you have not, this protester is clearly trying to cause chaos. She has her car parked sideways to where she is blocking traffic. She engages with federal law enforcement officers. They're giving her instructions. She's ignoring them. And then she starts to drive her car forward towards one of these officers. Look, I've seen the video, and I think we know by this point, I'm no wholehearted, die-in-the-wool supporter of government. Look, if government, the elected officials, law enforcement, whatever, misbehaves, I think we've proven in the 9 years I've been here, I'm going to call it out. But it appears to me in the video that I have seen, and it is a handheld camera, a smartphone that is filming this, from behind the interaction, that the law enforcement gives her very clear directive She's clearly trying to cause trouble. She not only ignores the directive, she defies it and starts to drive towards one of these officers who fires his weapon and ends up killing this person. That's what it appears to be to me that took place. And as I'm watching this whole thing, and I obviously know how it's going to unfold because I've seen the news report, which is why I go to watch it, the whole time I'm yelling at my computer screen or telephone screen, just do what they told you to do. Look, part of living in decent society is that you have to do things you don't want to do. And part of the deal is that the law enforcement is in charge, and there's all sorts of times where they tell people to do things they don't want to do. You just got to do it. And if it's egregious, if it's over the top, if it's criminal, then there are mechanisms, there are ways to fight that. But in the moment when the police or the law or federal law enforcement or whoever it is tell you to do something, you just do it. And if someone, and this would be the question I would have, and we're going to get into all this audio on this because the Democrats once again are being wholly ridiculous on this. If a car is coming towards you, if it were in your life and a car were coming towards you, a SUV, by the way, we're not talking about, we're not talking about a Pinto or something. We're talking about a large SUV coming at this officer. What would you do? Just stand there and let the person run you over? No, of course not. But as usual, and the Democrats go to the most extreme corner imaginable right out of the gate. The Democrats always seem to find a way to alienate as many people as they possibly can in an attempt to appease a radical base. Because I think the average person is where I'm at on this, which is, look, there's lots of rules I don't like. There's lots of laws I don't like. But law enforcement has a very dangerous job. And in the case of ICE being in Minnesota and Minneapolis, they are there because we have a massive illegal immigration problem in this country. It's a huge reason Donald Trump was elected president. Because now he didn't win Minnesota, but he did win almost every single quote unquote swing state. And a major reason of that was people said we're sick of who knows how many people are illegally in this country now. At least 15 million, maybe as many as 20. And they said, we're sick of it. We want these people out of our country. We're tired of these people freeloading off of us. We have rules in this country. Get illegal immigration under control. And yesterday, ICE agents were there doing their jobs that they were sent there by the President of the United States to do. And this woman refused to listen to instructions, and she drove a car at a law enforcement official. If you drive a car at a law enforcement official, you should expect to get shot. I'm sorry. I have no sympathy for someone who will not follow the instructions. Now, here is Ilhan Omar, once again, predictable as always, saying that ICE is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, ICE has been carrying out state-sanctioned violence in our communities. We have seen them terrorize so many of citizens in the 5th District and across Minnesota. And that has tragically led to this murder that we all watched on TV. And so it is not helpful for us to have ICE agents unlawfully just carrying out these ridiculous raids that are not resulting in any sort of arrests, that have no explanation of why they are there. They are disturbing peaceful communities that are just trying to live out their lives. And I join our mayor and our senator in asking them to get the heck out of our city.
Again, if this person had just done what she was told to do. And if you don't like it, if you don't like that ICE is there, win an election, lady. That's why we have elections. Joe Biden did all sorts of things I didn't like, and many of them got struck down in the courts. But you know what I didn't do? Go out and behave like a maniac and defy law enforcement if they told me to do something. And the Democrats continue to take these radical positions that alienate themselves from middle America who otherwise might be open to voting for them. Now, Kristi Noem, she came out and said exactly what I'm saying. It's pretty simple. Don't try to run over law enforcement. You won't get shot.
You know, people need to stop using their vehicles as weapons. This domestic act of terrorism to use your vehicle to try to kill law enforcement officers is going to stop. And I'm asking the Department of Justice to prosecute it as domestic terrorism because it's clear that it's being coordinated. People are being trained and told how to use their vehicles to impede law enforcement operations and then to run over anybody who gets in their way while they go out there and try to disrupt peace and public safety. And Americans deserve better.
Yeah. Director of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, saying the obvious. These law enforcement officials are doing what they're told by the administration of the President of the United States. They don't want to deal with you any more than you want to deal with them. I assure you, as the son of a former federal law enforcement official, he didn't wake up every day going, oh, great, I get to deal with the scum of the earth. There are, in most cases, people who love their country, and they're willing to put themselves in horrible positions like those law enforcement officers were put in yesterday because they want to clean up this country. They want to do right for this country. They don't wake up wanting to deal with you. They didn't want to deal with that. They don't even want to deal with illegal immigrants, but they have to because this country for decades has turned a blind eye to this issue, and finally Donald Trump and his administration are saying, we're not doing that anymore. All right, let's take a break because we got to get some more audio on this. Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, he said something so egregious yesterday, and I got to play it for you because this will tell you who the Democrats are. See, we talk about this all the time, where the Democrats are the reason the Republicans behave so badly, because the Democrats take these ridiculously radical, totally out of the mainstream positions and enables the Republicans to go, well, we can do whatever we want because we know no matter what we do, no matter how we abuse your finances, no matter how much we grow government, no matter how much crony capitalism we engage in, people are going to look at the Democrats and go, ain't doing that. Tim Walz, example A, when we come back, 93 WIBC.
New Year's resolutions come and go. Big Ten wins, you earn those.
Norton in the corner. Bingo!
Big Ten basketball means tougher defenses, louder buildings, and zero margin for error. Coach Darren DeVries has the Hoosiers ready for the work.
Our mindset has to be, regardless of shots falling, our defense has to keep us in the game.
Up next, IU versus Nebraska, Sunday at noon. No fluff, no filler. Hoosier basketball on 93 WIBC.
If the new year means it's time for new flooring in your home, Brothers Floor Covering is ready to help. Brand new carpet, hardwoods, laminates, and luxury vinyl plank in stock now. Plus, Brothers Floor Covering can get you new flooring installed in as little as 2 weeks. Visit Brothers Floor Covering today at their new location, 8550 North Michigan Road. Discover why buying local means getting more, not paying more. Get the flooring of your dreams installed now. Go to brothers-floorcovering.com. That's brothers-floorcovering.com.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping us to another record year. We recently saved a 62-year-old retiring couple over $800 monthly when compared to their COBRA offerings. We recently saved a family of 4 over $400 monthly when compared to their $7,500 deductible program on the ACA, and you know that's still Obamacare. We recently saved a small 4-man manufacturing company over $1,000 monthly and gave them better coverage. We feature coverages guaranteed to age 65, low out-of-pocket expenses, the largest networks in the country, and you can sign up anytime. If you are retiring early, self-employed, or need coverage for your small group, call us at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. What do you got to lose? Call us, 317-563-0868, or go to rragency.org. As always, God bless America, common sense government, and peace through strict.
Selling the house the non-traditional way to a company like Simple Quarters takes so much stress and relief off of you. You can put that time back in your family and taking care of what needs to be taken care of. So my father-in-law, his health was declining. We needed to move him to put in assisted living, and we needed to get the home out of his name. Initially, my wife just wanted to let the property be taken over by the state. She was stressed just due to the condition of her dad, moving him back to Indianapolis. And I told her, look, we can sell the home, use those funds to care for him over the next few years, I really didn't want to hassle with putting it on the market, listing it, answering questions, fixing stuff. I reached out to Simple Quarters. The process was just super easy through Simple Quarters. Everything they said they did. There was no pressure involved whatsoever. The pricing I got for the house was very fair, and it was a relief knowing we didn't have the financial responsibility and we could just put all our time and energy into taking care of our father-in-law.
Call Simple Quarters 317-687-HOME, 317-687-HOME.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 60% off plus 24 months, same as cash, with 0% interest.
Because at B-Window,
we mean business. We mean business.
trust me.
The Democrats always seem to find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory and alienate as many people as they possibly can, totally needlessly. It's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Coming up next segment, stick around. Some big news has come out already in the opening days of the Indiana General Assembly, and it really could affect your wallet. There was this transportation committee hearing that INDOT was at. We talked about that at length yesterday. And, of course, the big news out of that was that 300-plus projects have already been delayed or canceled due to lack of funding. However, INDOT has somehow found a way to let Governor Braun's pet project, the Mid-States Corridor, go forward despite an incredibly high multi-billion-dollar price tag. Members of that transportation committee, both Republicans and Democrats, were saying, well, what's going on here? We've got all these projects that are getting canceled, but you're going forward with this project that seemingly could really benefit the governor financially with his distributing business. And so coming up next, State Representative Carrie Hamilton, she's on the Transportation Committee, will be with us to talk about that. Plus, this big news that came out that now the Braun administration is moving forward already with requesting federal government permission to toll I-70. Remember last year when they passed this bill where the legislature just gave away their authority to oversee tolling and said, well, the governor can handle it. They said, well, it'll be years before we do this. This is like a more of an administrative type of function, setting things up for the future. And we said last year, and you all know our very loyal audience, my least favorite part of every show is when I have to come on these very valuable airwaves and tell you how right I was. We told you at the time, we said, they're going to move on that immediately. They are not doing that as some future administrative function, some red tape clearing thing. They are doing that because they want the tolling. And boy, howdy, it has come out that the Braun administration is actively moving forward on tolling I-70, only they won't tell you where. So State Representative Carrie Hamilton, she is very upset about that as well. She will be with us next segment. But I want to come back to what happened yesterday in Minneapolis with this woman being shot by federal agents because she would not comply with their directive. She was blocking traffic. She was trying to disrupt society. She refused to listen to directives given to her and then drove her SUV at a federal law enforcement officer who shot her. Now, if you want to take the position, well, ICE is bad, and ICE shouldn't be there, and I don't think it's helping the country, and we need to get more information on this. Okay, video looks pretty clear to me, but reasonable people can disagree, and if you want to say we need all the facts to come out before anyone forms an opinion and a full investigation, I'm all right with that. But immediately, the Democrats do the most predictable thing ever, which is they vilify law enforcement. They vilify the people who are there just doing their jobs. People sent there by the President of the United States, a job they probably don't want, a very dangerous job that they're probably not excited about doing. And once again, instead of saying the obvious, which is if that woman had just done exactly what she was told to do, no one would have been harmed. First of all, if the woman hadn't been blocking traffic, none of this would have happened to begin with. However, at the very least, even if you're going to say, well, she's protesting. Well, there's many ways to protest where you don't fully disrupt decent society and impede people's ability to move down roadways. There's permits, things you should be getting. But at the very least, when law enforcement tells you to do something, Whether what you think you're doing is lawful or not, you do what they say and you live to fight another day. Tim Walz, just like Ilhan Omar, he's not saying the woman who drove the car at the law enforcement officer is the bad person. No, he's saying it's ICE, and now he's saying ICE is a threat to public safety.
We have been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life.
No, Tim Walz. The threat to public safety was the woman who blocked traffic, disobeyed orders, and then drove her car at ICE. If there were no illegal immigration going on in your state and in that city, ICE wouldn't be there. Those are the people that are a threat to public safety, the people who break the law. ICE is there. These federal agents are there to clean up the mess that you will not, that Biden would not. And look, previous administrations wouldn't either. Going back to George W. Bush or Barack Obama, it's a bipartisan thing, and Donald Trump said we're done doing that. Now, here's more of Tim Walz. And now, and get this, he's threatening to unleash the Minnesota National Guard on ICE.
Their deployment is there to protect Minnesotans from whatever it is. If it's an act of nature, if it's a global pandemic, or in this case, if it is a rogue federal agent. I don't know at this time.
Look, and I'm not one that tries to, scream fire immediately. I try not to go over the top when we talk about things like this. But when you are talking about, nobody's a rogue agent. They were all appointed and allowed to be there by the administration of the President of the United States. Again, you cannot like that. That's okay. Win the election. If you just want cities being flooded with illegal immigrants, if you want an open border, if you want the idea of a country to not even matter, we have elections where those things get decided. We had that for 4 years, and people said enough of that, and they elected President Trump. But you don't have the right to say, as a governor, I'm going to unleash my National Guard on federal law enforcement agents who are there doing the job they were ordered to do. Insurrection's a strong word, right? So I'm not throwing it out there lightly, but somebody needs to take a big look at that, because threatening essentially violence, which when you're talking about unleashing the National Guard, that's what you're doing, the threat of violence on federal law enforcement officers doing their job, you need to have that investigated, because that should not be tolerated. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, State Representative Carrie Hamilton's going to be with us. She's going to be talking about that wild transportation hearing with INDOT the other day, where they said apparently there's plenty of money for Braun's pet project that could make his business a bunch of money in Southwest Indiana, but no money to fund 300 other projects that were already in the pipeline, plus the plan to toll I-70. We'll get to all that and more next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
My grades were bad. I would get D's and C's.
I appeared to be doing good at my school life, but if you would see me at home, it would have been a completely different story.
I mean, it was just rough focusing on school when your mother is somebody you have to take care of. It got worse and worse and worse throughout the years.
There are students who need somebody.
They can trust someone, and it could be the first person they've ever trusted in their life.
Communities in Schools is lowering America's dropout rate by helping more than 1.3 million kids every year get whatever they need to succeed in school.
If something was going on at home, we would go just stop by Miss Liberty's office and talk to her.
Communities in Schools vouched for me when everyone else had lost hope.
You can help change the picture of education right here in your community and across the nation. Visit communitiesinschools.org.
I hear people say we can't save every kid, but I think that we can.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A city out responding. Cloudy. We've reached 40 this hour in Indy. We might get to 60 later on today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:30, brought to you by Window Nation. Minneapolis is on edge with huge crowds gathering overnight after a woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent Wednesday. Fox's Alexis McAdams has the latest from Minneapolis.
We saw thousands of people in the streets of Minneapolis protesting and yelling at officers, demanding they get out of here because they say they shot and killed this woman, and ICE says it was self-defense. So DHS says the woman used her SUV to block the street. So during these ongoing operations, they block off these streets these people trying to stop the operation. ICE told her, get out of the car, but when they put their hand on the vehicle, she started to put it in reverse, they say. One of those agents opened fire. This is what we know about the woman who was killed. She's been identified as Renee Nicole Macklin Good. She's 37 years old. She recently moved to Minnesota.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says DHS isn't telling the truth as the shooting remains under investigation. The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, has also accused the administration of lying about what happened. With tensions rising in the city, South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace is insisting to Fox Business's Mornings with Maria that the officer was in the right.
So I agree with President Trump and Secretary Noem on this, that this was an act of domestic terrorism.
Mayor Frey has also called on ICE to leave the city immediately, accusing them of spreading chaos. And President Trump announcing on Truth Social this week the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 billion barrels of oil to the U.S. and adds it will also be sold at market price. That's equivalent to about 3 to 5 days worth of U.S. oil production. Energy Secretary Chris Wright claims Venezuela had been spiraling downhill for many years under President Nicolas Maduro, and that this latest news will go towards helping restore relations between their countries. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is down 187 points to 48,996. The S&P 500 down 6 points, 6,920. And the NASDAQ also in the red this morning, 37 points. It's down 25,653. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun, brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
You ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joyner Homes based out of Greenfield. See one of their model homes in person anytime. It is a great way for you to experience the customization and quality of a Joyner Homes custom built home. Plus, you can meet with a new home specialist to learn about their building process. Available lots if you don't already have one. Find out about floor plans and where they build. Model homes are open 7 days a week from noon to 5 and walk-ins are welcome. Find out more at joynerhomes.com.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Stop smoking with hypnosis. Only $59.99 guaranteed or your money back. Stop smoking with hypnosis guaranteed with no irritability and no cravings. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. In addition, use hypnosis to lose all the weight and destroy unwanted cravings. Hypnosis programs are Thursday, January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss hypnosis at 5:30. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. Or Saturday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis at 2 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Of all the times to buy a new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. $9,000 off a new Lincoln Corsair, $9,000 off a new Lincoln Nautilus, or $9,000 off a new Lincoln Aviator. Your choice of any of these great luxury cars, $9,000 off. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
Corsair stock number L25277, MSRP 52220. Nautilus stock number L25270, MSRP 57235. Aviator stock number L25246, MSRP 65165. See dealer for complete offer details.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast!
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Wheat Grow Hair Indy. You know, champions just don't show up. They pick the right team to get the best results. And when it comes to restoring your hair, We Grow Hair Indy is that team. You know, 5 years ago, I made the choice to head over to We Grow Hair Indy. And every time I look in the mirror, I'm so glad I did. You know, guys at the top of their game, radio personalities, coaches, and well-known athletes have all trusted We Grow Hair Indy to restore their hair. Why? Because their results are permanent, natural, and speak for themselves. Here's what you do. You call today, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Schedule a totally free, no-hassle, no-obligation consultation. Darren and the gang, the fine folks at We Grow Hair Indy, will take a look at what's going on top of your head and make some suggestions on how you can get your hair and your confidence back. Then it's up to you. In the meantime, see some other folks who have made the choice to get their confidence back by heading over to WeGrowHairIndy.com. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995.
And I'm driving a stolen car, waiting on that little red light. I keep telling myself everything's gonna be alright.
Well, lots going on in the Indiana General Assembly, especially as it relates to roads and what you might have to pay for them. Let's get to the bottom of it. 93 WIBC, it is the Kendall Casey Show. Joined in studio by Indiana State Representative Carrie Hamilton, Democrat, Indianapolis. Carrie, hello.
Hi, Rob. Great to be here.
Great to be with you. Okay, so there was this big hearing that you guys had with because you're on the Transportation Committee.
That's right.
You control the money for the roads, so we all need to be very nice to you. You had this big hearing with INDOT, and basically INDOT said, we've run out of money, we've had to cancel or delay 300 projects. Tell us about what's going on and why is there such a lack of resources for roads in the state of Indiana?
Yeah, well, it was interesting. So apparently for the last year or so, they've been talking about having to cut back some projects because of the increased cost of construction, which we all know is a fact. But we learned that there are, and now I realize it's more than 340 projects, is what I learned yesterday since the hearing.
It's that they've raised the number in just a day.
At least that, that have been canceled or scaled back or postponed. And that's a concern. These are projects that have been in the pipeline because they're about making our communities safer, keeping our roads in good shape, maybe improving them where needed. And those projects are not going to happen now. But what we also talked about in committee was that there's this, what some would call a pet project, Southern Indiana new road project, $1 billion project.
Yes.
That INDOT's planning to build starting next year.
Okay, so let's talk about, you may have heard, we're on that.
I haven't actually. Yes, good, I'm glad you are.
Yes, the Mid-States Corridor.
Yes.
And that is the governor's pet project, and there are people in Du Bois County where that road is going to run through, who are not very happy, and they believe that there is a potential conflict of interest because, well, this could dramatically help people in the transportation industry, and you as a state rep may have heard the governor made a few pennies in the transportation industry.
Huh, how about that?
Yeah, so so did they give you an explanation? Because even Jim Pressel, this is not a Democrat thing, right?
No, very much not partisan at all.
He's a Republican. He's the head of transportation, and even he, like you, was saying, well, what are we doing here? We're spending billions on this road that is wildly unpopular where we're planning to build it, but there's no money for these other road projects. What did INDOT tell you?
Yeah, not a whole lot. And kudos to Chairman Pressel for bringing this up in committee. It was frankly news to me. And I think the number one point here is transparency. Like, Hoosiers deserve to know what's going on with their tax dollars when it comes to road funding. And you know, if we don't have a voice, that's a big problem.
Right. So they didn't have an answer for you on why they're continuing to go forward with this very expensive project with little perceived benefit, except for people in an industry that the governor happens to have made a fortune in while they're canceling all those other projects. So no answer.
No answer.
Okay. Well, that's government in action right there. Now, can you guys demand answers? Can you pound a fist? Can you do something about it?
Well, I did actually. I sent 2 letters to the Department of Transportation this week.
Were they sternly worded?
I would say so.
Okay,
respectfully worded, but on behalf of taxpayers,
yes,
asking for the list of canceled projects and also for a copy of the toll road waiver application that the administration sent to the federal government last year.
Okay, so let's get into that because it's now come out, and we started our show with this today, that the Braun administration, now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm getting older, my memory may not be what it once was, but last year when they passed this bill, which essentially gave the governor unlimited ability to do the tolling, They said, oh, this is years in the making. This is just an administrative step. It won't happen for a while. It's been less than a year, and they're already asking for the tolling permission on I-70.
Well, that's true. And here's what I'll say. Again, my request is about transparency.
Right.
I want to know exactly what was asked for in that waiver. So we know it's I-70. That's only part of the story. I want to know how much tolling will happen in and around Indianapolis. Because if there is tolling in and close to Indianapolis on 70, I've got a problem with that.
Right. So as part of, and this is so bizarre, maybe you can answer why they won't come off this, all they'll tell, and this is not just the media, it's you guys, the reps, the senators. Well, there's probably some people in the know who know, but at least publicly, they won't even tell you where they want to toll other than it's I-70.
Correct.
What's the reason for the big secrecy?
I haven't heard a good reason to keep it private. And, this is a public request between one government agency to another. It really should be a public document. And certainly months after they've been getting many requests to make it public and it's still private, that's a problem.
State Representative Carrie Hamilton is our guest. We're talking about road funding here in the state of Indiana. Do you, one of the issues I have with all of this, and we were talking about this, well, whatever it's been, 8-9 years ago now, when they did the gas tax, was this doesn't make any sense what you're proposing because you're investing in a mechanism that is going to produce less over time. And they told me to sit down and shut up, and they had it figured out. And now here they are back 9 years later going, well, we're out of revenue. We're out of money. Do you know, what is the plan for our state as it relates to reliable road funding? And why don't the roads seem to say they're going to buy our gas? And that didn't happen.
Right. So I do think there is benefit there. I would support a proposal, and I don't know if this a level of detail is in a waiver request or not, that would include tiered tolling. Again, keeping all tolling away from Indianapolis, several miles outside of the 465 loop.
Right.
But for the rest of the 70 corridor on the east side of the state and the west side of the state, to have it tiered so that the out-of-state vehicles pay the most and in-state vehicles pay the least. My understanding is we can't completely eliminate the tolling for Hoosiers if we're tolling out-of-state vehicles. But a tiered system certainly seems more fair to me.
Yeah, because like an easy pass, right? Like these other states have tolling. Right. I live in Indiana, I show my whatever, and then I skedoodle on through.
Yeah, and you pay a lot less than those out-of-state trucks that are tearing up our roads.
Right, okay. So would this, well, you don't know, right? They're not telling you how much they're looking at? Like, is it a
court? I have no idea, Rob. I have no idea.
Can you call the governor and just go, what the hell are you doing? Do you have the ability to do that, as a rank and file state rep?
I mean, I do, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait a few days and hope to hear back from INDOT and go from there.
Okay, a couple minutes left with you. This is a big year, I think, for you guys, the Democrats, because Republicans are pretty unpopular. The redistricting thing was very unpopular. You've got seemingly maybe the person will be at the top of your ticket who's going to raise $1 gajillion and has name ID. This is a year. You guys got to kind of get it together, right, and start winning some of these seats, or you might as well just fold it up.
Yeah, and I think we are. I think we're
fold it up or get it together.
Oh my gosh, we've got it together, Rob.
Okay,
we are ready for big wins in November of 26.
How do you do that though? How do you message that, right? And this is the thing I told Bo Bai when he was in here, is I said, look, you're fine, right? You come off as a very likable, normal guy. You're very mainstream. You've said things like voter ID is going to stay, but you got some people, and I kind of think you're the same way. You got people in your party, though, that get a lot of attention that the average person goes, ooh, no thank you, right? I don't like the Republicans, but no thank you. How do you as Democrats relay a message that'll resonate with the people of Indiana? What's the strategy to do that this year?
Well, I'll speak on behalf of House Democrats, and I do think this plays out throughout the party. We have been focused on affordability for Hoosiers, and we will continue to focus on affordability for Hoosiers. I'll share, the last couple of years when you've heard about socially divisive issues coming before the legislature that get people fired up on both sides extreme of either party. Those didn't come forward by the Democrats. We did not put those bills forward. Our colleagues across the aisle did. We have been focused and continue to focus on affordability for Hoosier families.
Yeah, you guys need to get some wins, because I think the bad behavior by the Republicans is they don't fear losing to you guys. So we're all counting on you. Very good.
You know what? Just to wrap up my thought there, we're focused on affordability for families, and that's what people are asking us to focus on. That's why I think we're going to have big wins in November. Our policy ideas are clear and will deliver relief for families. Hoosiers know that. and they're paying attention.
Yeah, if you guys can't be Diego Morales, it's done. We all need you to be Diego Morales. All right, Carrie Hamilton, Indiana State Representative. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show back at it 3 o'clock this afternoon. FOP President Rick Snyder scheduled to join us. Rob Kendall scheduled to join us. Let's have a day.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numbness, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Matt Schulke, chiropractic neurologist and board certified in neuropathy. What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is nerve damage in the feet or hands.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
Absolutely, and we get amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, pain, or balance issues, call Dr. Schulke today for a free nerve damage screening. This screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for their specialized treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 463-400-FEET. Act now. Call 463-400-FEET. That's 463-400-3338 for your free nerve damage screening. 463-400-FEET.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-598-4799. 800-598-4799. 800-598-4799.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Join me January 24th as we sip some bourbon and talk about how we win the midterms. Trump, 1 year later, the Red Tie Gala, the highs of the last year, the lows of the last year, and how we win the midterms. We're going to drink great bourbon, eat great food, laugh a lot. Come join me January 24th, 2026, downtown Indianapolis at the Hyatt Regency. Trump, 1 year later, with me, Tony Katz. Go to tickets.tonykatz.com, tickets.tonykatz.com, or get your tickets right now at WIBC.com and join me for some great bourbon January 24th.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Step into the spotlight with Dancing with the Stars. Catch the live show at Old National Center Wednesday, February 25th. Reserve your seats and tickets today at WIBC.com.
Conan O'Brien is spot on about people not being funny anymore in America and how politics has really ruined comedy. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC. I'm Rob. Ethan Hatcher in for Casey today. Now, I should point out, like, there wasn't some emergency 911 call. Rob's ruining the show. You must show up, because you were not here for the first, really, 3 segments of the program today. You were doing your day job.
Landlord stuff.
Yes. And we'll get to that in a little bit, because I'm fascinated about how all of that actually works. But I wanted to play this clip from Conan O'Brien. I think this was the Bill Maher podcast that he was on. I don't know that for sure. But and again, with the internet, right, like, things go through the loop. I think this is a fairly recent clip. It doesn't matter, though, because it's so spot on, whether it was a week ago or a month ago or a day ago or whatever. It's so spot on. So Conan O'Brien, obviously late-night talk show host. He was a writer on The Simpsons, Saturday Night Live. I mean, just a legendary figure in comedy. And he's talking about how comedians have stopped being funny because they're obsessed with hating Donald Trump.
I think some comics go the route of
I'm going to just say F Trump all the time, or that's their comedy. And I think, well, now a little bit you're being co-opted because you're so angry. You've been lulled. It's like a siren leading you into the rocks. You've been lulled into just saying F Trump, F Trump, F Trump, screw this guy, you know. And I think you've now put down your best weapon, which is being funny, and you've exchanged it for anger. And that person or any person like that would say, well, things are too serious now. I don't need to be funny. And I think, well, if you're a comedian, you always need to be funny. You just have to find a way. And you just have to find a way to channel that anger into a way that is, because good art will always be a great weapon, will always be a perfect weapon against power. But if you're just screaming and you're just angry, you've lost your best tool in the toolbox.
He's right, and both sides do this. Like when comedians go after this, I always think about those with South Park because they're equal opportunity offenders. The right for years thought South Park was the funniest thing ever because the Democrats were in power, and this is hilarious. They're making fun of all of these people because it was. But now that it's come to where it's Trump and Kristi Noem, and then for a while Charlie Kirk before his assassination, well, now it isn't funny. No, it's all funny because almost all these people are wholly ridiculous and deserve to be made fun of.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned South Park in particular because that's exactly the example that I was going to use, except that I think the quality of South Park has actually somewhat declined because the humor seems unequal. And yes, they did go after Democrats, and yes, that was hilarious. And yes, some of the jokes that they've told about Donald Trump have been equally funny, but it is the hyper focus on Donald Trump that recent episodes have taken where they can't let it go, they can't give it a break, they can't give the joke some breathing room. Then I think it becomes a little bit exasperating and overwhelming compared to when they did tell jokes about Democrats. It wasn't every single episode. It wasn't every single joke. They would switch to different narratives, different storylines, different targets for their humor. And that's what kept the ball rolling. And that's what kept the humor funny.
Look, media is a business. At the end of the day, what we do here is a business. Now, we have a love for this business, but our employers don't leave us here because we have a love for this business. They've left me here for 9 years, despite what a pain in the ass I am for them, because we produce ratings, right? And they use those ratings to make money. And to me, like, our show is different than the other shows because we openly say here we hate the Republicans, right? Like we hate all of these people equally. Now Amber and Nigel do too, but they're not in the political world as much as we are. They do a lot of other fun stuff. They're an afternoon show. It makes sense.
Right.
But I've always looked at it as, and I think the reason we're so popular is because we don't alienate as many people from listening because people who hate me are going to listen anyway. But we bring people in, like we have Democrats on this show all the time. To me, it's like it's a business. Why would you do? Now, a lot of people have perceptions or preconceived notions or whatever. They're not going to listen. But I think we get more people from across the spectrum because we have more voices on here. And to go back to what you're saying, in comedy or television with South Park or whatever it is, if you're an equal opportunity offender, I think you can attract everyone versus if you just take a one-sided Trump sucks or Trump's awful or whatever approach, the people aren't going to go see your act if they don't agree with you politically.
Somebody who has really embodied that spirit, I think, and part of the reason why he got brought back after many years of being sidelined by a much less talented host is Jon Stewart doing The Daily Show, because he is what we were talking about this the other day on the show, an honest broker. And I think people are willing to give you a little bit more slack if they believe you to be an honest broker of information. And Jon Stewart, although, yes, he's absolutely left-wing leaning, he is not afraid to go after ridiculous Democrats and hold them to account in the same way that this show, the Kendall and Casey show, is unafraid to hold dishonest Republicans to account. And I think that attracts audiences, loyalty, and listeners.
Okay. Everybody's got to stick around for this next segment. So Nick and Nathan Roberts, they are 25-year-old identical twins. Nick is a Democrat on this Indianapolis City County Council. Nathan is one of the up-and-coming leaders of the conservative movement here in central Indiana. He's founded a group called Save Heritage Indiana, which is dedicated to rooting out illegal immigration. They're two twins. They couldn't possibly be more different politically, and they're going to both be here with us to have it out. It's Kendall and Casey Show. Coming up next, Nick and Nathan Roberts, 93 WIBC.
Without an Advent clinic nearby, people suffering needlessly from chronic nasal congestion and sinus infections would be stuck with either Band-Aid or sledgehammer solutions. Band-Aids are pills or nasal sprays, and they're not true solutions. Surgery is a sledgehammer, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Because most people don't need surgery for nose and sinus issues, nor do they want a 14-day recovery. Our unique Advent approach can, in 20 minutes in our office, open your blocked nose for good, with only 1-day recovery. I'm Advent founder Dr. Candula. Outside of Advent's four walls, invasive surgery is what they'll recommend. But here you will find effective and convenient in-office solutions to help you stop the need for Band-Aids and avoid the sledgehammer.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1979 or biglou.com.
You're tired of your house being uncomfortably cold, and paying those high electric and oil bills to keep the heat on is shockingly expensive this time of year. You'd love to have new windows, but you don't want to pay a fortune for them. Well, January is a great time of year to replace your windows thanks to Window Nation. Over the last 20 years, they've installed over 3 million energy-efficient windows and helped tens of thousands of homeowners keep their homes comfy and cozy year-round, while also saving them money on monthly utility bills thanks to new windows.
And right now, they're more affordable during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows for Free sale. So it's a great time to replace all the windows in your home. Plus, you could get them with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. If you're feeling cold drafts from your windows, it's time for new windows. Save big with Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 sale going on right now. Visit windownation.com to get started.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
When Dugan Air began servicing Johnson, Shelby, Bartholomew, Brown, Morgan, and Marion County over 17 years ago, they focused on a great customer experience. That has grown into the Dugan difference. Dugan is always looking to go above and beyond for their customers, consistently giving top-notch service every time. You will be taken care of. Dugan Air is your American Standard Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer. Go DuganAir.com. Go DuganAir.com. Dugan Air.
Premium service, no shenanigans.
And coming up in 2 minutes from the Dugan Air Heating and Cooling Mitsubishi Electric Studios, where a person died in a crash on I-70 early this morning. What Senate Republicans have listed as their number one priority bill for this legislative session. And we're getting closer to kickoff from Atlanta between Oregon and the number one team in the country, Indiana. We'll hear from the IU quarterback after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
A standoff on a street in Minneapolis. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Demonstrators confronting federal immigration agents the day after a shooting they call murder.
Demanding that ICE leave the city, protesting the death of Renee Good.
She was fighting for her immigrant neighbors, just as so many of us have been.
and now she's gone!
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says Good attempted to ram her car into an ICE agent.
This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents. An act of domestic terrorism.
City and state top Democrats dispute that. Governor Tim Walz readying the National Guard if needed. Minneapolis schools have canceled classes for the rest of the week.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Police in Utah keep searching for the gunman who shot 2 people dead and wounded 6 more, opening fire last night outside a church. Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd says,
"We don't believe this was a targeted attack against a religion."
The shooting was in the parking lot as a funeral service was taking place inside the church. The Senate's getting ready for a vote on a war powers resolution today, pushed by Democrats upset over the military operation in Venezuela that captured leader Nicolas Maduro.
Their plan seems to be to steal the oil and use the leverage over the oil to try to micromanage the country on a day-to-day basis. That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Senator Chris Murphy wants to force the president to get Congress's approval to take more action in Venezuela. Republican Senate Leader John Thune just told Fox,
"This is the Democrats trying to, poke the president, and I hope that we have the votes to defeat it."
Someone in space is sick. A spacewalk scheduled for today canceled.
An astronaut aboard the International Space Station is suffering what NASA is calling a medical concern. They will not elaborate as to what is the nature of this concern, nor are they identifying who among the crew is affected.
And that's Fox's Evan Brown. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They say speed likely a factor. Partly cloudy this hour in Indy. It's now 46 with today's high towards 60. Could see some light rain this afternoon, too, around 2 o'clock. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's now 10:02. A multi-vehicle crash happening on I-70 in Indianapolis this morning results in the death of 1 person. Indiana State Police say the incident involved a semi-truck and a passenger vehicle in the eastbound lanes between Sam Jones Expressway and West Minnesota Street. The driver of the car was killed in the crash, and the ramp from Sam Jones Expressway had to close. No other injuries have been reported. Troopers believe that speed was likely a factor. Dozens of bills are being filed this week at the Indiana State House. One of them would add new eligibility requirements for both the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps, and Medicaid. Senate Minority Leader Shelley Yoder is reacting.
It implies that there is fraud happening rampantly in Indiana. And if that is the case, I mean, my goodness, we know who has been in charge for the last 2 decades. It's been, a supermajority rule under Republicans.
Senate Bill 1 could also remove thousands of households from the SNAP program if it's passed. Democratic organizers are making a major play for rural Indiana. Jonette Cruz has more.
The Indiana Rural Summit Coalition, founded by candidate Michelle Higgs, aims to bridge the gap between rural residents and the General Assembly.
Our clear vision is that rural and small town Hoosiers have big ideas and can make a big impact on the issues that matter most to all Hoosiers: affordable and accessible health care.
A group filing of almost 30 legislative candidates took place at the State House on Wednesday. By pooling their training and information, and these candidates hope to mobilize voters on issues like living wages and local infrastructure. Jonette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Pacers will look to finally put an end to their losing streak, which reached a franchise record 13 games earlier this week. Tonight, they take on the Hornets in Charlotte. And we're less than 36 hours to kick off for the Indiana Hoosiers. They arrived in Georgia on Wednesday as they get ready to face Oregon in the Peach Bowl tomorrow. Quarterback Fernando Mendoza on facing the Ducks defense again.
We played them week 5. At that point, we were able to get the best of them entirely. However, they put up a great fight. They had a pick 6 on us. Watching them against Texas Tech, a shutout in a college football playoff game is insane. So it's going to be a great challenge.
He says even though they are favored to win, they are still embracing that underdog mentality. The other college football playoff semifinal is tonight between Miami and Ole Miss. They're facing off in the Fiesta Bowl. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall Casey back in 1 minute.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hammer and Nigel here. Bill Demery would like to give you a 20% upfront bonus when you invest your money. Not only do you get a 20% bonus, you're also going to get an annual return that's averaged nearly 10% for the past decade. Discover how you could get an upfront 20% bonus plus an additional return that's averaged nearly 10% for the past 10 years.
Bill Demery explains things in a way that's easy to understand. Because let's be honest, the world of retirement and finance, it can be pretty complicated. But not when you work with the best. Bill Demery, your retirement guy. Contact him right now, 317 805-4716. Ask about the upfront 20% bonus on your money. Upfront, 317-805-4716, or visit yourretirementguy.com. That's yourretirementguy.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So they're identical twins. They're prominent political figures in central Indiana, and they're exact opposites politically. Let's make some sense of all of that. It's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob, joined in studio by Nick and Nathan Roberts. Now, this is a fascinating story. I'm looking at both of you guys. I'm totally confused at who's who. Nick, I'll start with you. You are a Democrat member of the Indianapolis City County Council at 25 years old, which is amazing. I don't even think I can remember where I was at 25 years old. But you are a staunch believer. You are a loyal Democrat of the Indianapolis City County Council.
More or less. There are things I disagree with, but I'm a Democrat, yeah.
And then I'm going to turn to my right here, and I'm looking at the same guy, only it's a different guy, Nathan Roberts, who is the most loyal, hardcore Trump supporter imaginable, and you have started your own nonprofit devoted to getting rid of mass illegal immigration in the United States, Save Heritage Indiana.
Absolutely. You will not see me make any bones about it. I'm a loyal, diehard Republican, 100%.
This is the most fascinating story, and you guys have been getting so much publicity about this. By the way, have you guys ever pretended to be the other one? Isn't that an identical twin thing? Like, Nick, have you ever pretended to be Nathan or Nathan, Nick? Just to, like, your parents surely have never fallen for that, right?
They never fall for that. We had an old grandfather who would get us mixed up, but outside of that, everybody's been able to tell us apart. I always wanted to switch up in school, but Nick's such a rule follower because he's a Democrat. And he would say that would get us in trouble, so he never let us switch, even though I wanted to.
Okay, so this is fascinating to me because you guys, like I said, you're identical twins, 25 years old. You're both now prominent people in the Indianapolis political scene, both with your time on the council, Nick, and Nathan with your Save Heritage Indiana and the attention that that's getting. When did you guys, when did you figure out we see the world so differently? Nick, I've got to identify who you are now because not only do you sound the same, you look the same. Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think we really realized in high school, but even dating back to middle school, there was a project that I did recently, and I was looking back at it. And I read that I called myself the Democrat.
That sounds like a long time ago, but when we were as young as you guys,
yeah,
it was like 10 years ago.
12, 13 years ago. And he called himself the Republican twin. But really, I would say it was 2015, 2016. At the time, we were both turning into political junkies. We were reading and watching the news nonstop. And I remember, Trump going down the golden escalators. And I remember thinking, man, this guy is such an idiot. Who would ever vote for this guy? And my brother was like, he'd be the best president ever. What are you talking about? Our savior. He'd be our savior. And from there, it just naturally evolved. And that's been over a decade since then, right? And really nothing much has changed. I've always been more Democratic. He's always been more Republican. And yeah, it's really been since then. I'm a Republican, but I'll say I'm not an Eric Holcomb Republican.
Yeah, you're a good person.
2021, outside the governor's mansion, it was April 2020. I was one of like 40 people.
You were the Petri dish.
Probably the youngest person
the human Petri dish.
That was at the anti-COVID lockdown rally. I had a sign which said, I want a haircut. And Nick took a picture of it and posted it, and it went super viral. But I was at that one, and I was at the 2021 rally at the State House because I almost got fired from my job for not getting the vaccine.
Okay, so do you guys, when you were figuring out where you're at on the spectrum, did you guys have conversations about this? I mean, brothers haze each other, tease each other, but it's so bizarre of two kids who come in the same household at such a young age to have different views. Like, how did you work through this? You're Nathan, by the way. I should point that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Voices are probably hard to tell apart for especially on the radio.
Yeah.
No, we've honestly never, ever, I don't think I had a heated discussion about politics. We talk about politics all the time, too.
Never?
I don't think we've ever had like a thing where it's like, no, this is like, you need to change. I don't think we've ever had that because we both respect each other, and he's a smart Democrat.
Shockingly, they exist. I think I'm a smart Republican.
Because, like, you're one of the ones who wanted to pull the plug on Hogsett, right? Like, you're that kind of Democrat. Like,
Well, I wouldn't go there, but
yeah.
I mean, there are times
true.
you have to push back, but I wouldn't go all the way on that.
Okay, so
I'm definitely more of a moderate Democrat.
what did your parents like intervene in this? Were they taking sides? Like, what was it like for you guys as you're hitting your teenage years? And again, it's like not even that brothers have different political opinions. It's you're twins. Like, it's like looking at the same person who's just saying remarkably different things.
Well, I think our family is a good microcosm of everything because really, and my brother probably agrees with this, we have everything in our family.
You're
We have
Nick,
people-
by the way. This is Nick
yes.
talking.
We have progressive Democrats, moderate Democrats, and I think that was a lot of it for us. I wouldn't say our family intervened. There are times where my grandparents like, we need to have an intervention with Nate. Nate's gone off the deep end. But I'm sure the other Republicans in my family have said the same about me. So
Because I was thinking like this kind of disappointing because I was thinking like your Thanksgivings and your Christmas are gonna be wild, like people throwing things at each other. You're saying
That's
it was
the comment we always get on everything. Every CNN article is like that. Thanksgiving dinner must be crazy. Politics was not brought up at Thanksgiving one single time.
wild because like at my everything that I go to, and my wife has a big family, everybody just wants to talk about politics. And they're always like, I know this is the last thing you want to talk about. And then they proceed to make me talk about it for the entire time. But you're saying with you guys, like, even though this is your world now, really, it doesn't come up that much.
I think part of it is the fact that we know that if we enter Thanksgiving, there's all kinds of beliefs, right? And like, I'll give an example. My great grandmother, she's the sweetest human alive, but she is very much Republican, right? And I just want to bring it up out of respect for her. Like, I don't want to ruin the vibe completely and make it so awkward every dinner, right? Like, you want to have respect. And I think when you know people are going to disagree, it's a lot harder to always bring it up and be the person trying to interject politics and everything.
But also, I'll say I don't bring up politics anymore. I've learned that lesson. But when I was 15 and 16, I was the number one person. I would not just bring up politics. I would bring up the most controversial stuff to try to get the juices of the room flowing.
See, he was me. I was that way when I was and then you'll phase out of that and realize it just gets you heartache and there's no reward for it. Nick and Nathan Roberts are our guests. They're identical twins. Nick is a member of the Indianapolis City County Council. He's a Democrat. Nathan has started a very now prominent group, Save Heritage Indiana, devoted to getting rid of illegal immigration in our state and across the country. And I like national. Is it weird to you guys that people are so interested in this? I mean, you get it, right? Like this is like it's like going to something you see at the circus, right? See the same guy with two different opinions. I mean, national publications have picked up on this story.
It's very weird. I mean, just tomorrow, the Washington Post is coming here to follow us around for the day.
It's going to be a day in the life. Like, that's crazy. Like, we're not that important. I've been on Newsmax 4 times now.
He's already passed me at 25, right?
But I think it's surreal, obviously, just for our entire lives that it's now national. This has been what we've dealt with. Like, everyone's always thought it was funny, but now that we're both doing our own thing in different parties, it's obviously more of a story. I think part of it is I've not seen, we were looking at it, I've never seen, we've done research, identical twins being involved in politics in different parties. It's the first time it's ever happened as far as I know. There's a novelty to it. That's fascinating. Like, people are so interested.
Nathan, when Nick was elected, did you help him?
You know, unfortunately,
did you vote for him?
Okay, so he called in a favor. He was like, please, not campaign. He tried to get me to campaign for him. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. He got me to stand outside the voters' place and then kind of be like, oh, vote for Nick Roberts. And you know what he said? This might get him in trouble, but he was like, don't say you're me, but if people happen to think that you're me and are meeting you, just like go along with it.
Just go along with it, yeah.
So I would be like, yeah, vote for Nick Roberts. And I did vote for him. I'll just leave it at that. I voted for him. It's the only Democrat I think I've ever voted for in my life, but I did vote for him.
Okay, so at 25, being a member of the Indianapolis City County Council, because I was 27 when I was elected, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And how old were you when you got elected?
I was 23.
Yeah.
I started running at 21.
How do you even pull that off? Like,
it took a lot of work. Door knocking, raising money, hustling.
Did people look at you and go, get off my property? Like, what are you selling? Yeah,
yes.
son, like what? I mean, that's pretty amazing at 21 years old to be able to pull that. Like, how did you do that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just it's the cliche of working hard, door knocking, raising money. That's what all it took, right? You know, I I think that I look younger than I am too, so I had that additional. I still look younger.
When I
than
first
am.
saw you, I was like, we have a 12-year-old on the city county council. That's amazing. No, I mean, I just think that's incredible that you were willing to do that, and you presented yourself in a way that people took you serious enough.
It was
to say,
intentional. It was very intentional, right? Like I did not lean into kind of the kooky stuff like this. I would not have made this a story 2 years ago.
He's pointing at his brother, by the way.
Yeah, but now that I'm already in office, I can kind of be a little bit more fun with things. And also, too, we had the benefit. We've lived our entire lives in the district that I ran in, right?
Yeah.
So I had that kind of hometown advantage, being able to really campaign and hit the pavement hard. But yeah, it's been great, honestly. 2 years in
Nick
office.
selling himself short. He was one of the biggest overperformers for a Democrat on the city council. He was. And you know, I'm lucky because every single Republican I talk to, 95%, they're like, I hate the Democrats, whatever, but your brother is one of the good ones. Every single person says that. And I don't know, I doubt he gets that about me.
I do not.
But
I do not.
Which shows you a little bit of how Republicans act versus Democrats. Like Republicans are always like, oh, you know, your brother's nice. And then Democrats are like, your brother's a fascist.
Yeah. So tell me about Save Heritage Indiana, because one of the reasons this made news is your group, you know, I mean, you've put this out there, right? It's not just sort of, I'm a Republican. You've taken a very strong position on illegal immigration. Tell us about Save Heritage Indiana.
Yeah, we support an immigration moratorium, immigration pause, 30 years. No doubt about it. It would me and my friend, his name is Daniel Pointer. He's my co-founder. He ran a separate nonprofit group in the past, but we realized there's groups for everything at the State House: dogs, cats, healthcare, pro-development, anti-development, anti-abortion, pro-abortion, but there's nothing against illegal immigration. In fact, there's 100 full-time employees for groups like Exodus Refugee and the Indiana Latino Institute that work in the opposite direction. And Indiana is a deep red state, and all it takes is one Democratic president to get back in and simply not enforce the laws anymore. And it's like states are totally helpless to have like common sense immigration laws. So we think there's a huge opening. There was a survey done at America Fest, which is like the TPUSA event they just did in Arizona, of young conservatives, and 89.5% of the attendees said they support an immigration moratorium wholesale.
This is like, I still just like, I keep turning back and forth. I wish people could see this right now, because it's just like you're looking at the same person. Now there is just enough difference, right? Where some twins are so identical that there's no way to tell them apart. Like there's a birthmark or something. You guys are a little bit different.
People who know us like almost never get us mixed up unless they're like old, basically. But anyone under the age of 70, like never, ever gets us mixed up.
And it helps telling us seeing how we're dressed compared to each other.
Yeah.
My brother's pretending like he lives in rural Indiana.
I'm a lumberjack.
He's a lumberjack, yeah.
Man, I love this story. I think it's great for dialogue. I think it's great that you guys can show that you can still love each other, even with different political beliefs. And I just think this is such a cool story. And so thanks for coming in, spending a few moments with us, sharing, being identical twins with polar opposite political views. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks,
Yes,
Rob.
sir.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Sold out. That's right. Hammer and Nigel Show charity bowling event. Red, white, and gold. Presented by Jack Daniels has sold out. So if you did not get tickets, we still have a chance for you to go. Go to the contest page at WIBC.com. Register to win 2 tickets to our charity bowling event Friday, January 16th at Woodland Bowl.
Hammer and Nigel. Weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Leave all of the 2025 dirt behind and start the new year with Zero Res. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, and hard surfaces, your whole home can be Zero Resified, including your air ducts. With a 4.9 Google rating and over 5,100 reviews, Zero Res is the trusted choice. So start the new year with 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $119, plus a free hallway, and take 15% off regularly priced services when you mention the WIBC special. 317-388-5141, ZeroResIndy.com.
Pat Sullivan here. Fire emergency? I've had one. If you do, call Michaelis. Owner Richard Michaelis explains why.
Michaelis is local and family owned. 39 years of experience with 24/7, 365 response. The Michaelis Corporation is IICRC certified, restoring your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
And Michaelis helps you through the insurance process, giving you peace of mind. Water, storms, fire, and mold, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIX-INDY. Guy Relford here. Time again for the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show this coming weekend at the State Fairgrounds, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's never been a more important time to exercise our rights as true Americans. It's the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show. See the best in sporting, hunting, and personal protection gear, plus great displays of Americana. Come see us this weekend at the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show, Friday 2 to 7, Saturday 9 to 6, and Sunday 9 to 4. It's the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show. See you there.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251.
Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 60% off plus 24 months, same as cash, with 0% interest.
Because at B-Window,
we mean business. We mean business.
Okay, I was just talking with Ethan. By the way, it's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out today. Ethan Hatcher's in. Tomorrow, we're going to have a very interesting program. Our friend of the show, Dr. Scott Strong, he's a college professor, and he's a numbers whiz. And he did the math. He did a little piece on this on social media, and I'm going to have come in and do a deep dive on it. So, the penny's going away, right?
Yes.
They're getting rid of the penny.
And did a whole segment on that on the First Day show with Terry Stacy.
That's
and we
right.
talked about the model penny.
I heard this, yes. And so as the penny goes away, is phased out of society, more and more corporations are going to have to make the choice on to round up or to round down. And Scott Strong did a model. He modeled how much this could potentially cost you and how much it could make these corporations if they go a certain way on the rounding. And so he's going to be with us tomorrow to talk about the death of the penny and how much this could end up costing you.
But okay, there's two things that would strike me that's going to mitigate that. First of all, if you do a non-cash transaction, if you do a digital transaction, then you can just pay the exact amount without having to round up or
we're talking about
down.
that's what I'm saying.
But then also, if you are paying with cash and you have to do the rounding up and the rounding down, then it seems like that would break roughly even, depending on where the
look, I'm not going to spoil it for everybody. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to give it away today. Tomorrow's going to be fascinating. Look, this guy's college professor. He's a numbers guy. He's very unbiased on this, and he did the math. It's going to be fascinating. So I just want to preview to everybody. Maybe you're going to be here tomorrow.
That's what I was going to ask. Am I going to be here?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Yeah, they just tell us like 3 hours before. Okay, so Tom Homan was on Fox News, and he's talking about what's going on in Minnesota with these federal agents being there cleaning up illegal immigration. Of course, the left is losing their mind over it. They're screaming, they're crying. And he said, this is great, Ethan. Listen to this audio. He said the Democrats better get some counseling because they're taking the same approach across America.
And what they need to be concerned with, Tim Walz says he's not going anywhere. Well, either am I. Either is President Trump. Either is Pam Bondi. Either is Kristi Noem. So we're there because of the priority census, right? But that show is going on the road. So if the Democrats are having a fit now, you better get counseling because this is about to get a hell of a lot bigger throughout this nation. That show is going on the road. I actually think Minneapolis is the tip of the iceberg. I think we're going to find a hell of a lot more in Illinois, New York, California.
Yeah.
We'll see. But This operation will go nationwide. We're going to keep our promise. And because President Trump is sitting in the Oval Office, every American can put their head on the pillow tonight, knowing the Border Patrol is on that border, stopping all threats coming across. Most secure border in history of this nation. ICE agents and FBI agents are working 24/7, 365, every hour of every day, taking public safety threats and national security threats off our streets. Sleep well, America, because we're keeping America safer. So we're doing exactly in Minnesota what we're going to do nationwide, which you and I talked about, Sean. We're keeping President Trump's promise to American people to make this country safe again, one city at a time, one criminal alien at a time.
Okay, I think you can have issues with a lot of the things Trump has done domestically. Spending, the crony capitalism that's in the big bullcrap bill. I think a lot of that, not addressing the affordability issue, I think a lot of that's fair game. But I think, Ethan, it is indisputable that Donald Trump has done everything in his power to hold to his promises that he made in the most recent campaign about getting rid of illegal immigration, the people coming here, and the people in this country. I think he's doing everything in his power to hold to that promise.
Absolutely. He's done a bang-up job when it comes to the border, and he put the perfect person in charge of that in the form of Tom Homan, who is the most no-nonsense broker and border enforcement authority that we've had in the federal government for a long time. And that's going back even to the Bush administration, because he started getting wiffle waffle on the border back then, too.
Yeah. All right. Real quick, I wanted to play this. So Hakeem Jeffries, he's the Democrat leader in the U.S. House of Representatives. And look, the Democrats are obsessed with getting Trump, and it is so to their detriment, because there's a lot of people who don't like what the Republicans are doing, but they see the Democrats as unserious partisan clowns who are not obsessed with making lives better for people. They're not obsessed with governing. They're simply obsessed with taking out Donald Trump. And we heard this during the redistricting argument, which you and I both agreed that that's not a right reason to change your maps, which are good. But the Democrats are going, if they get the House of Representatives, to try and impeach Donald Trump. And Hakeem Jeffries was on one of these PBS affiliates, and listen to this, he refuses to rule out impeaching Donald Trump. So here we go again.
Leader Jeffries, if you believe the military action was unconstitutional, as you seem to be indicating here, what can you do about it? I mean, the president has lamented earlier in this week to other Republicans that he was worried Democrats would try to impeach him if they lose in the upcoming midterms. Would you try to do that?
Well, what we have to do is deal with the issue that's in front of us right now, and that's to make sure that no further military action can be taken without explicit congressional approval.
So here we go again. I mean, they will not take this stuff off the table, and that is going to motivate people otherwise suppressed Republican turnout. If Trump can go out across the country and turn it into, they're going to take me down if you don't go out and vote for these people.
And that's why Republicans better get their act together in these congressional elections and make sure that they're running on issues that are succinct and are well communicated and can be supported by a majority of the population to ensure that they are retain office or obtain office and stave off this ridiculous conflict that the Democrats will quickly pursue if they take the majority in the House.
Okay, I did want to address something real quick, and I don't think she'll mind me doing this. If she did, I wouldn't do it. But people are asking, like, where is Casey? Because she's been out this week. Casey is not deceased, as far as I know.
Thank goodness.
She is not on the run from the law, as far as I know. She is not hiding in Baltimore with her daughter, as far as I know. Casey's been under the weather. She is doing better. I talked to her yesterday. It was a somewhat serious thing, but she's doing better. It's not like she's sitting in a hospital bed. It's not like she's in a hospice care. She's at home on the mend. She's doing better, and hopefully she will be back very soon.
She just needed some recovery time.
Well, yeah, I don't think she would mind me saying that, and I'll let her decide if she wants to tell everybody what's going on. But she's fine, as far as I know, and she's just been under the weather and is getting back to health. So I didn't want the people, where is she at? Did she finally have enough of Rob? Blah, blah, blah. No. Casey's fine. She will hopefully be back.
One day that's going to happen. It just hasn't happened
yet. Yeah. After 4 years, you've had your chance, lady. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, J.D. Vance says America has a Somali problem. I got to play this audio for you. Ethan's in for Casey, 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Taking things to the streets. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending At 10:29, the National Guard is on standby in Minnesota as protests erupt over the fatal shooting of a woman by an ICE officer, an incident that was caught on camera by bystanders.
People here locally watching all these different cell phone videos, people have questions. They've taken to the streets saying that ICE murdered this woman, but DHS says the agent was acting in self-defense. This woman was trying to block the streets, according to agents. So DHS says the woman used her SUV. She tried to, put it there on that snowy road to stop them from going around. They walked up to her. They told her to get out of the car. But when they reached to open her door of that SUV, she kind of backed up.
And then an ICE agent opened fire at the driver from several feet away as she tried to drive away from the encounter. The woman was killed. She's been identified as 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good. Her family denies the government's claim that she was involved with the protests in any way. The Senate is set to vote on a war powers resolution today that would limit President Trump's ability to conduct further attacks against Venezuela. This comes after the U.S. military seized the country's president, Nicolas Maduro, in a surprise nighttime raid, and as the Trump administration is seeking to control the country's oil resources and its government. Senate Majority Leader John Thune joined Fox's America's Newsroom to react to the resolution vote.
This is the Democrats trying to, poke the president, and I hope that we have the votes to defeat it.
And it's not just Democrats backing the resolution. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul says Congress should approve further military action. President Trump says Venezuela will buy only American-made products with the money it takes from Venezuelan oil. Some industry analysts have expressed doubt about whether U.S. oil companies will invest large sums of money in Venezuela when the region remains unstable. Oil executives from ExxonMobil and Chevron are set to visit the White House tomorrow. And former reality TV star Spencer Pratt is launching a campaign to challenge Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, criticizing her handling of the deadly fires that devastated the city last year. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Lose the weight or stop smoking with Hypnosis, guaranteed only $59.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Hypnosis Thursday, January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 8 p.m. And Saturday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
If the new year means it's time for new flooring in your home, Brothers Floor Covering is ready to help. Brand new carpet, hardwoods, laminates, and luxury vinyl plank in stock now. Plus, Brothers Floor Covering can get you new flooring installed in as little as 2 weeks. Visit Brothers Floor Covering today at their new location, 8550 North Michigan Road. Discover why buying local means getting more, not paying more. Get the flooring of your dreams installed now. Go to brothers-floorcovering.com. That's brothers-floorcovering.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
A diagnosis of Alzheimer's can make it a struggle to communicate with loved ones. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. In a moment, I've got a tip which often helps that will be music to your ears. Don't go away.
Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us to find a community near you.
A growing number of studies show the power of music's role in those living with Alzheimer's. The next time a loved one seems to be tuned out, gently place headphones on them or simply turn on one of their favorite songs. Watch their eyes light up and don't be surprised if they sing along or start chatting about the tune. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 60% off plus 24 months same as cash with 0% interest.
Because at B-Window,
We mean business. We mean business.
So J.D. Vance is saying something I think that needs to be said. And at least now we're finally getting these things out in the open. It's the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Ethan's in for Casey today. Kev is here. One of the issues, and we talked about this a lot during Trump's 2024 run, was that when we talk about immigration in this country, yes, illegal immigration is a massive problem. You've got more, probably more, but we know of 15 million people legally in this country. That's a massive drain on your society. That's a massive interference in the natural order of how things should be working. And it's going to disrupt society, and it clearly has. But the other issue that has to be addressed is legal immigration. People who are at temporary status, have gotten the various cards. They are, they are legally here in this country. But is that working for society? Is that a benefit for society to have had all of these people, refugees? There's a whole laundry list of things you can throw at and say these people are here in this country legally, temporarily, whatever. Is that working for society? I think a lot of people said no. And I said one of the things Trump is going to have to get a handle on is not just stopping the flow of illegal immigration, but also clamping down on who we're letting come into this country legally. And I think as we're seeing with the Somali daycare fraud stuff, Ethan, people are starting to pay attention to that.
Yes, absolutely. You should have discretion when it comes to whom you are inviting into your country. It's like whom you invite into your house. You should have discretion when it comes to who is coming under your roof. And if they are coming from seedy, disreputable locations, maybe you don't want every individual from across the city. Like certainly you would scrutinize people coming into your home from 38th and Post Road more than you might from Carmel, for example.
Well, and you have, unless you meet certain criteria, which are spelled out in our Constitution, and it sounds like the Supreme Court is about to make a more in-depth determination on this very soon, which right now the accepted practice has been if you're born in this country, then you have a right to be here. Now, again, that could change. Many people believe that may not have been the most accurate of interpretations. But other than that, for the most part, unless you're a natural-born citizen, you have no right to be here. You are a guest in our country. And one of the major issues is a lack of conformity from these people who have come to America. They change the communities they go to. They don't change for the communities they go to. If you live in central Indiana, and I've said this many, many times, it's the best example I can give you. If you live in central Indiana and you go to your local Walmart, if you live in suburban in central Indiana and you go to your local Walmart, it looks markedly different than it did 10 years ago.
And it's such a perplexing position from my perspective that these people want to come to America because of the way that America exists, but then they don't want to conform to the social norms of this society. They want to import the social norms that they were fleeing.
Yes, they want the benefits without the adaptation, without the assimilation. No, you're spot on. But it's,
I mean, like, look, if I wanted to move to England, the expectation would be that I conform to the way that the English people, behave, their social norms.
Yeah, because you're not an entitled a-hole, Ethan. You're a decent member of society. You have morals. You have standards. I'm serious. These people are entitled a-holes. They believe they should be able to come somewhere, pick and choose what they want to do, pick and choose what they want to cooperate with, get all the good parts, and then just ignore everything else.
And I think part of the reason why people have been afraid to say that in recent years is because of the omnipresent Damocles sword of the accusation of racism that's always hanging over your head if you make any objection to the way that some immigrants behave upon coming to the country. And that's just that's a dishonest way to approach the topic.
Sure, absolutely. And J.D. Vance was on with Jesse Waters, and he addressed this specifically as it was related to Somalia, and the Somalis who are in this country. Take a listen.
If you look at the amount of fraud in the welfare system, according to the statistics I've seen, 85% of Somalians who are in the United States, legal and illegal, are collecting some form of welfare benefits. So that's not to disparage the other 15%, but when you're at 85% of a population that is collecting welfare, that suggests that we have really done something wrong with regards to vetting, and that's the fundamental issue. Even if there's no fraud, 85% collecting welfare is way too many damn people collecting welfare, getting rich off the American taxpayer while a lot of Americans struggle. That's unacceptable. What's going on in Minneapolis, I think, is actually representative of a broader fraud scheme that we're going to see all over the country. We're going to see it in California. We're going to see it in other places too, where people get rich from the American taxpayer. The Somalian fraud, for example, daycare fraud. You've got Americans, we've got programs set up to make it easier for Americans to get their kids in daycare so they can have proper child care. You take that money and you siphon it off to Somalian fraudsters, that's a double theft. Number one, that means a lot of American families can't afford their child care. Number two, that means a lot of American taxpayers are being fleeced. It's totally unacceptable.
And I can't reiterate this enough about the stuff that it's not just happening in Minnesota. I've told this story before. I had a dinner, this was last year, with a prominent Central Indiana school superintendent. This is a very well-known person. I will not name the person. I meet with people all the time that people would drop over dead if they knew that I was associating with them, because there's a lot of people who, even people that don't agree with us politically on everything, they respect that we go out and we tell the truth and we tell you what's going on. And this person is not a conservative, not a Trump loyalist. This is a very well-known Central Indiana school superintendent. And what this person told me is, he said, one of the major problems with immigration in this country and how it's affecting every community is that what these people who are getting this legal status, right, people who are legally coming into this country, be a refugee or TPS or whatever, is they are smart enough to know that they can pool their resources together and create the perception of wealth. And what he means by that is a lot of these communities now, were in Central Indiana, be it Brownsburg or Noblesville or Avon or whatever, these council members are not smart enough to know what's going on. So they will see the price point on a house. Let's say it's a $450,000 house. That sounds like a lot of money, right? And they'll say, oh, this neighborhood, it's going to be nothing but, the price point is going to be $400,000 or $450,000. Well, look at that. How can we possibly say no? And they put these high-density housing developments. They call them R3, the tightest zone. It's a quarter of an acre lot. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And they'll say, well, but look at the price point. But what these temporary status people, these refugees, what they do is, you've got 3 or 4 families living in that house. So from the perspective of the public school system, you've got the equivalent. If you got 3 families that are all producing 2 kids, now you've got 6 kids in a $400,000 or $450,000 house, which means it becomes the equivalent from a government services perspective of a $150,000 house.
Well, and then you're talking about the drain of resources that these communities inflict on local towns across America and across Indiana. And I'm thinking in particular of Wayne County over there in the eastern part of the state, around the area of Richmond. And I can't remember the statistics exactly off the top of my head, but I know the school systems down there have dozens of different languages that are spoken within the school from dozens of different countries around the world that require many specialty people in order to facilitate, translating, in order to facilitate specialists.
Yes.
There we go.
Specialists
to facilitate.
Also known as specialty people. Yes.
Brain fart.
Yeah. No, you're fine. It's only the most powerful media outlet in the state. The 5 seconds of dead air was fine.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for pointing it out. That's salt on the wound. Anyway, that is to say, it's imposing an enormous cost on a relatively rural community in order to facilitate the education of all these people. And the functioning facts on the ground is that America cannot sustain paying for the rest of the world. We can take care of our country. We can't take care of everyone else.
One of the things, and we didn't have time to get into it when we had Nick and Nathan Roberts in to start the hour, one of the things that Nathan's group, Save Heritage Indiana, is advocating for is not just getting rid of illegal immigration. They're arguing for a pause on all immigration in this country to get time to vet these people who are contributing versus who are not, and get these people out who are draining the system, because so many of these people, we get so focused on the illegal immigration, we absolutely should. But so many people who are draining society and draining the system and draining resources are people who have come to this country via legal means, but they are not pulling their weight. They're not adapting. They're not assimilating.
Well, we can already, put a pause on this system because we have 15 million people here that shouldn't be here that we have to deal with, and we can't further invite burden onto the American people that more so than already exists.
Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, Bernie Sanders, you remember him, right?
Oh, no.
He is saying that Trump has made the U.S. and the world less safe by capturing Maduro. We'll play that very fabulous audio. And then Rick Scott, Republican senator, he says we're going to change everywhere. So that also sounds rather ominous. We'll play it for you next, 93 WIBC.
Is life insurance part of your New Year's resolution? Listen, if you're young and healthy, it's simple, and any old agent can get it done. But if you're 50 to 60 years old with a touch of wide waistband syndrome or have correlating health glitches, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider. Big Lou doesn't bait and switch you in with young and healthy rates only to clobber you with the truth down the road. $1 million of coverage could be as low as $200 per month. And unlike that treadmill, this one won't collect dust in the corner. Call Term Provider, speak with Big Lou, and find out how much he can save you on your new $1 million life insurance policy. Start this year off with peace of mind by calling Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-777-1979 or biglou.com.
Is your home stressing you out? Why not sell it to us? Simple Quarters is a local Christian company that loves to assist people in difficult situations. We will buy any property in any condition. Simple Quarters has helped over 3,000 families sell their homes in Indiana.
We have two homes that we live in, one here in Indianapolis, one down on the Ohio River. We're both over 80. We want to simplify. We receive a tremendous amount of phone calls on properties we have. A lot of them are very aggravating. You're not going to buy it over the phone, so let's don't kick tires. Come and look, say yay or nay, and then we can both go on down the street. And so James did come. He was there early, waiting on me, which I appreciated. Looked it over, we talked, chatted. James, he did a good job. Did what he said he was going to do. I would recommend it.
You can rest at ease when doing business with Simple Quarters because we keep our word. Call Simple Quarters 317-687-HOME. That's 317-687-HOME.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hammer and Nigel here. Bill Demery would like to give you a 20% upfront bonus when you invest your money. Not only do you get a 20% bonus, you're also going to get an annual return that's averaged nearly 10% for the past decade. Discover how you could get an upfront 20% bonus plus an additional return that's averaged nearly 10% for the past 10 years.
Bill Demery explains things in a way that's easy to understand. Because let's be honest, the world of retirement and finance, it can be pretty complicated. But not when you work with the best. Bill Demery, your retirement guy. Contact him right now, 317-805-4716. Ask about the upfront 20% bonus on your money. Upfront, 317-805-4716, or visit yourretirementguy.com. That's yourretirementguy.com.
Serving Indiana means being ready for growing energy demands. At Duke Energy, we're adding more power to the grid and working on hundreds of local projects to make your energy more reliable. We've strengthened nearly 20,000 poles, updated more than 270 substations, and prevented hundreds of thousands of outage hours with self-healing grid technology, so your power can come back on faster than ever. That's the smarter energy future Indiana deserves. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
Casey and the Sunshine Band, live at Old National Center, January 23rd at 7:30 p.m. It's the ultimate throwback party. Get your tickets today at WIBC.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for We Grow Hair Indie. Man, it seems hard to believe 5 years ago I was a hideous gargoyle, and then I made the choice to head over to We Grow Hair Indie. And now I'm just, still a gargoyle, but less hideous. But I thought my hair, though, was absolutely fabulous. It's beautiful. The rest of me is a complete train wreck. But here's how it works. You call today, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. You schedule a totally free, no hassle, no obligation consultation. You go in. Darren and the gang, they're top-notch guys. They're going to take a look at the top of your head, see what's going on, say, maybe if you did this, it'll look a little bit better, and then you have all the power. In the meantime, if you'd like to see some other people that made the choice to head to We Grow Hair Indie and get their confidence back, visit WeGrowHairIndie.com, WeGrowHairIndie.com. Call today, 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you. Okay. Bernie Sanders is back flapping his gums again, and he thinks, Ethan, that Trump has made the world somehow less safe, and us as the United States less safe by capturing Maduro.
I'm pretty sure the war in Ukraine started under President Joe Biden, not President Donald Trump.
Yes, that's correct. And it does beg the question, which I'm sure he will never answer, that, well, why don't we play the audio of Bernie Sanders first, and then I'll ask the question that Bernie Sanders does not want to answer.
Trump's attack on Venezuela will not make the United States and the world safer. Quite the contrary. This brazen violation of international law gives a green light to any other nation on earth or any terrorist organization that may wish to attack another country. And they will use Trump's action in Venezuela as their rationale. Trump did it. Why can't we do it?
Okay, so first of all, we're not at a war with Venezuela. We removed this guy who, through our legal system, had an indictment against him. And the question for Bernie Sanders and for the Democrats that they will not answer is, if this was so wrong, why did Joe Biden have a $25 million bounty on this guy? How did they expect to logically, how would you expect somebody to cash in a bounty if they didn't do exactly what Trump did? So, would it have been okay if some, Caped Crusader or Masked Avenger had swooped in there, caught him, and just dropped him off on the Florida shores, and then we indicted him that way? Would that have been okay if Christian Bale had put the Batman suit back on and gone and got this guy? Him and Alfred had hatched the plot, right? If they'd have got, what's the Morgan Freeman involved in this? Would that
the bat plane? Yeah,
fly
over there,
would that have been
extract him. Yeah,
these people are so ridiculous because your guy proposed the same thing that Trump actually did, and not a word from you when that was going on.
I don't know if you caught this, but let's also analyze what Bernie Sanders said there, and I'm surprised he didn't trip on his way to the microphone wearing his clown shoes, because he said, terrorist organizations will use this as an excuse to behave violently around the globe. Violating international law? Yes, terrorist organizations, very well known for abiding by international law. What a buffoon.
And so it comes back to, and we talked about this as we open the show, and we'll get into it again later on in the program, about this, this shooting that took place in Minnesota with these with these federal agents. And that is, as I've broken my microphone here. But anyway,
Just twist the thingy and it'll tighten back up.
Oh, very good. How about that?
See?
Nope.
Oh, whoops.
No. There you go.
Well,
Spoke too
we'll
soon.
work with the
Anyway,
equipment, yeah.
the point of all this is it's the same thing with these guys in Minnesota, where there is a measured response. Like, I feel like you had a very measured response. I feel like my response was pretty measured in saying, hey, it's great this guy's gone. What happens now? We don't have a great track record with what happens next. Every person should have some concern because what happens next rarely goes good for the United States when we depose dictators. You can say that, have that response. It doesn't make you an extremist. It doesn't make you a TDS. It doesn't make you any of that. It makes you a concerned, middle-of-the-road American. Same thing with the shooting in Minnesota. You can say, I'm concerned about this. Is ICE the most effective way to do what we want to do? I'm concerned, was the use of deadly force necessary? Let's let all the facts come out before we declare these people the greatest American hero. But when you're immediately, they're the devil, they're the bad guy, they're causing violence, people just tune you out because that's ridiculous. They're there trying to catch illegal immigrants who are clearly in this country.
She had 3 opportunities to avert disaster. If she would have never blocked traffic, it would have never happened. If she would have obeyed lawful orders upon being given them, it would have never happened. And if she had not chosen to accelerate her vehicle in the direction of law enforcement officers, it would have never happened. That's 3 distinct opportunities to avert disaster, and she blew through them all.
Okay, speaking of that, we got audio from Kristi Noem when we come back. We've got Hakeem Jeffries going after ICE. We've got Minnesota Democrat Senator Tina Smith going after ICE. So much Minneapolis when we come back. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Are you a business owner or self-employed? Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more? Pay close attention. Do not ignore this message. The IRS has unmatched power. They can freeze your bank account, garnish your paycheck, seize your assets, and even shut down your business. If you've received a notice or think one is coming, the clock is already ticking. Every day you wait, penalties grow, and the problem gets worse. Call Federated Tax today. We'll connect you with an experienced tax professional who will negotiate directly with the IRS on your behalf. You may qualify for IRS hardship programs like the Fresh Start Initiative or many other programs that can stop garnishments, stop bank account seizures, reduce or even eliminate penalties, and lower your settlement amount. The IRS won't wait, and neither should you. Call Federated Tax today, 800-370-1384. The call and consultation are free. That's 800-370-1384. 800-370-1384.
Hi, this is Chris Cox, owner of Chimney Solutions, Indiana. We're celebrating our 10th year in business. Call this month to take advantage of 10% off all chimney sweeps and inspections. We're also celebrating the opening of our new fireplace showroom on 86th Street and Lafayette Road. Come and experience our exclusive lines of wood-burning and gas fireplaces.
Call 317-757-6979 or chimneyindy.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for Exercise Inc. I've been a client for nearly 20 years, and I can tell you it works. I'm in my 70s now, and I'm doing things on the farm I couldn't even do in my 40s. Lifting, carrying, working without wondering if my body's going to quit on me. That's real strength. That's real results. And I'm not talking about vanity muscles. This is strength that shows up in real life. What makes Exercise Inc. different? The professional coaches, many with over 15 years of experience and a private gym where every workout is guided, efficient, and safe. Here's the best part. It only takes 20 minutes a week. Their training method came out of an osteoporosis research study. Their Simple 9 nutrition program has helped clients lose over 40,000 pounds, and people see real improvements in strength, energy, and health. This isn't a resolution you quit. It's a habit you keep. The consultation's free, and it's worth it. 5 locations: Avon, Brownsburg, Zionsville, and Greenwood. Now in Fishers. Change your life in 20 minutes a week. Go to exerciseinc.com.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
When the cold takes over, Bassett Services is the name you can trust to keep your home warm and safe. From furnace repairs to full system replacements, we provide reliable solutions with care and professionalism. For urgent repairs or routine maintenance, Bassett delivers service you can depend on. We've been the first call for heating and cooling in Indianapolis for decades, so sound the hound at BassettServices.com for all your heating needs. Bassett Services.
Always by your side.
The Attorney General's office wants to put your money back in your pocket. Visit indianaunclaimed.gov and search for yourself, your loved ones, or your business. It's fast, easy, and free.
In 2 minutes from the Duke & Air Heating and Cooling Mitsubishi Electric Studios, a fatal crash in a shooting. A few of the things happening across Indy in the early morning hours. More about a group trying to flip some seats in public office, where a few Indiana Guardsmen are heading this week, and a preview of tomorrow night's college football playoff semifinal between Indiana and Oregon. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Another day of anti-ICE protests in Minneapolis. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Murder is what they call yesterday's shooting that left a citizen dead during an immigration operation. Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar also says ICE murdered Renee Good, telling CNN.
We have seen them terrorize so many of citizens in the 5th District and across Minnesota.
Homeland Security, though, is countering, saying this was a case of domestic terrorism in Minnesota, that Renee Good had resisted police, had stalked agents, and tried to drive into that immigration officer. Another lawmaker is going to retire.
I make this decision with sadness, for I love this House.
That's Steny Hoyer, a Democrat from Maryland. He's been in Congress since 1981. He joins more than 50 other lawmakers not running for re-election. The Senate is planning a vote today on a Democrat-pushed war powers resolution that would limit President Trump's future actions in Venezuela after the operation that captured leader Nicolas Maduro. But Republican Senate Leader John Thune tells Fox he hopes that vote fails.
What the president did there is something that's supported broadly, not just by folks here in Washington, D.C., but across the country, because Maduro was leading a drug cartel that was poisoning literally thousands of Americans every single year.
Now to Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House.
Only time will tell how long the U.S. demands direct oversight in Venezuela. President Trump told the New York Times in a lengthy interview. The president says the administration will be using oil to bring down prices and give money to Venezuela. Pressed on a timetable, President Trump suggested a U.S. role in Venezuela could be much longer than a year. He also did not provide a timeline for new elections in Venezuela.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
An active morning in Indy for law enforcement. Partly cloudy and 49 in the Circle City, getting to a high of 64 today. Some showers could also show up this afternoon. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A person driving a car is dead after crashing with a semi-truck on I-70 on the southwest side of Indy. Indiana State Police are investigating the crash from early this morning. It happened just after 4:30, backing up traffic and forcing the ramp with the Sam Jones Expressway to close. Staying in Indianapolis, IMPD is looking into a shooting from the Near East Side. They say a man is stable after being shot just before 5:30 this morning. Nearly 30 members of the Indiana Rural Summit Coalition officially filing for an office on Wednesday, launching a coordinated campaign to flip rural seats this year.
The Indiana Rural Summit started in 2024 with 3 simple goals: to support candidates committed to amplifying the voices of rural and small town Hoosiers, to increase voter turnout, and to hold legislators accountable.
Michelle Higgs is the founder of the Indiana Rural Summit. The group of Democratic candidates is pledging to give small town Hoosiers a voice and a choice after years of what they say is getting overlooked by state leadership. Some Indiana National Guard soldiers are heading to Romania for a 9-month-long firefighting and stability mission. Ryan Hedrick has more.
About 10 Indiana National Guard soldiers took off from the Indianapolis International Airport Tuesday after a short send-off. They're deploying as part of Operation European Assure, Deter, and Reinforce, a mission focused on keeping the region stable. The team specializes in military firefighting, protecting people, equipment, and facilities. Deploying U.S. troops to Romania gives the U.S. a strategic advantage because Romania sits on NATO's eastern edge, close to Ukraine. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Two of the state's top college basketball programs getting wins Wednesday night. Fifth-ranked Purdue down to Washington inside Mackey Arena 81-73, and IU got past Maryland on the road 84-66. It's Indiana and Oregon in the Peach Bowl tomorrow in Atlanta. The Hoosiers arrived on Wednesday. Quarterback Fernando Mendoza shared some thoughts about the game.
We are still the underdogs. At that point, we were for sure the underdogs. They're ranked above us. However, we're trying to keep that underdog mentality going into this game.
The Hoosiers are 3.5-point favorites in the rematch with the Ducks. Kickoff is at 7:30 Eastern Time. The other college football playoff semifinal game is tonight in Arizona between Miami and Ole Miss. Also announced today, IU football coach Curt Cignetti has been awarded the 2025 Dodd Trophy, the most coveted coaching award. Notre Dame's Marcus Freeman won the award last season. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Oh, okay. I know I've said this earlier today, but I think it begs repeating because we have people coming in and out of the program throughout the 3 hours. If you don't try to kill a law enforcement agent, there's a good chance they won't kill you.
Pretty simple.
I mean, really, I know that maybe some people think that's an oversimplification, but law enforcement is there to do a job. Trust me, most of them don't want to be dealing with you as much as you don't want to be dealing with them. I remember this years ago. This may surprise you, Ethan, but I consumed a lot of alcohol in my 20s. And much of that alcohol was consumed in Broad Ripple.
Not as much as me.
Yes, I never had nerve damage from my alcohol consumption. But I remember one time, this was, I don't know, maybe like 2 a.m, and I'm sitting there observing some of the stuff going on, and I'm watching the law enforcement officers. It used to be that they would just line the main strip there in Broad Ripple with police cars, effective like, midnight, 1 a.m., and the show of law enforcement generally stopped people from otherwise engaging in behavior that otherwise might have been a menace to the general public. But there were still people who just couldn't quite get the memo, right, and somehow found themselves in the back of a paddy wagon. And I remember I would see this stuff that the law enforcement would let go. And I remember having a conversation one time with the IMPD officer. And he basically said to me, he said, look, we don't want to be here, and we don't want to be doing this. But our job is to be here doing this, and our primary objective is to go home to our families. And unless you're doing something really egregious, we're going to give you every opportunity to not spend the evening behind bars. Like, you've got to really try to piss us off enough that we then have to deal with arresting and processing you. And I feel like that is the way most law enforcement officers try to deal with everything, is that they don't want to be dealing with you. Like, you think of it like you're out in if it's pouring down rain, you think some state trooper wants to pull you over and get out of their car and get doused with what? No. They're doing their job. And people have every right to not like rules or laws or regulations. They should fight those things that they don't like. But
fight them in court.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You're not going to win anything by fighting a law enforcement officer, be they your local police department or a state trooper or a federal ICE agent, because they're going to find a way to do their job. And if you use force against them, they not only will, but are justified in using force back against you. This is not a hard concept. And for some reason, so many people in our society cannot figure this out.
Based on all the available facts that we have at our disposal right now, and certainly more information may come to light, it's always possible, but there were multiple camera angles that were surrounding this law enforcement interaction, and from the facts on the ground that I can see, this woman had 3 distinct opportunities to avert the peril that she placed herself in. First of all, she blocked traffic and blocked ICE officers from performing their duties. Had she never chosen to block traffic, she would have never had cause to interact with these officers.
You're right. You don't. I didn't mean to cut you off, but you're right. I want to just tell you, you're right. You don't own the road. The road is not yours to impede. Like, if you have sometimes people get a protesting permit or whatever, and people then can do whatever the city tells them they can do. This woman did not have that. She made a choice, and she was breaking the law.
So that was the first opportunity. The second opportunity, upon blocking traffic, and she was being approached by law enforcement officers who then proceeded to give her a lawful command to exit the vehicle that she then refused to comply with. That was the second opportunity to avert peril if she had merely complied with the lawful orders being given to her by law enforcement officials. And the third and final opportunity, and the most pivotal one, is if she had never driven her vehicle, which was surrounded by law enforcement officers, in the direction of law enforcement officers, then she could have averted peril. However, all 3 of those opportunities, she blew past them, and she assumed responsibility for the peril that she placed herself and others in. If you play stupid games, you will win stupid prizes every single time.
So Kristi Noem, she is Homeland Security, right? That's
Yes.
her title. She explained yesterday why ICE is in Minnesota. Imagine this, Ethan. It's to enforce the law.
In communities across this country and here in Minneapolis, we're just enforcing the laws that we have in this country. For years under President Biden, tens of millions of dangerous criminal illegal aliens, terrorists, and suspected terrorists were allowed to invade our country over our southern border. They were allowed to steal, to defraud, and to perpetuate violence against American citizens. Regardless of who your mayor or who your governor is, President Trump promised every single American that he would make America safe again. He promised every single American that he would work to protect them from dangerous criminals. Since Governor Walz has been in charge of Minnesota, we have seen homicides go up by over 50%. That's also during Mayor Fry's tenure as well. Since President Trump took office, Governor Walz has released over 470 violent criminals back onto the streets here in Minneapolis. He has another 680 of them still within his jurisdiction that he could give to us today to face the consequences for their crimes. Because Governor Walz and Mayor Fry refuse to protect Minnesotans, and instead they protect these criminals, that's why we are here.
Don't break the law. If you are breaking the law, or even if you're not, and a law enforcement officer tells you to do something, you do it. If they're in the wrong, there are certainly mechanisms by which you can challenge that, and I would encourage you to do so if you believe a law enforcement officer has wronged you or broken the law. But you're never going to win fighting them, period, much less trying to run one of them over. Why would you think you're going to get anything but shot if you're trying to run somebody over?
The time to prosecute these interactions with law enforcement officials that you believe to be unlawful in their nature is not on the scene. It's in a courtroom. And if more people would understand and accept that as just a fact of reality, then they would not be endangering themselves.
Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat leader in the House, though, clearly intent on snatching defeat or victory, rather, from the jaws of defeat. Is that right?
Other way.
Snatching
defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. I
got you back.
My point on all this is the Democrats appear to should be having momentum based on people being frustrated at the various things going on in the country. And all you got to do is basically keep your mouth shut and hope that people use the election as an indictment on the Trump administration and not following through on the affordability, cost of living, et cetera. But then they can't help themselves. And they go out, and I'm going to play this audio for you, where they're now making ICE out to be the bad guy. And the average person, again, I say this all the time about what's going on here in Indiana. People hate the spending by the Indiana Republicans. They hate the bad government by the Indiana Republicans. They hate the high taxes by the Indiana Republicans. But then they listen to the Democrats and they go, no, I can't let that insanity run my society. I'll just pay more and be pissed off about it. And here is Hakeem Jeffries doing it again, saying this rogue ICE agent, as he calls him, should be criminally investigated.
There's no evidence that has been presented to justify the shooting of an unarmed woman, resulting in her unnecessary death. Kristi Noem, the so-called Secretary of Homeland Security, is a stone-cold liar who has zero credibility on this issue or on any other issue. And what we need, as I believe the governor has indicated, is a full and complete investigation. This rogue ICE agent who pulled the trigger should be criminally investigated to the full extent of the law, including for demonstrating a depraved indifference to human life.
That's crazy, Ethan. That is the leader of the Democrats in the House of Representatives. If he'll be the speaker if the Republicans lose the House, that'll be the speaker.
That's also an incredibly dishonest take to say that she was unarmed when she was attempting to use a 5,000-pound vehicle as a battering ram. That would be a deadly weapon.
Yes, that does. Yes, when you are driving a car, you are always armed. You always have the ability to kill somebody. These people are just and
they're unserious. They're liars. They're dishonest brokers.
And I was talking with Carrie Hamilton, state rep, Democrat from Indianapolis earlier, because we were talking about the tolling, and by the way, Nikki Kelly's going to join us next from the Capitol Chronicle, and we'll get into more on the tolling and the INDOT saying, there's no money for these 300+ road projects, but we've got plenty of money for the Bronze Pet Mid-States Corridor. We'll get into all that with Nikki Kelly next. But when we were talking with Carrie Hamilton, I said, you guys have to get your act together and be normal, because the Republicans are bad at governing because they know they can be, because you guys won't get your act together and be normal, and we get stuck with the bad governance because the Democrats make themselves irrelevant.
Why can't you be normal?
Yes,
it's like that lady from the Babadook.
Yep, we'll take a break. Nikki Kelly joins us next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC.
Was it self-defense?
He used his training to save his own life and that of his colleagues.
Having seen the video myself, I want to tell everybody that is bull.
What happens next?
It's a case of domestic terror.
Happens here.
ISIS-inspired attack.
When the city, parts of it literally burned down.
Stay in the know.
Shooting last night outside a Mormon church.
The gunman opened fire in the parking lot.
While you're on the go.
2 people are dead.
On air, online, and on Alexa.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well,
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been your one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
Advent knows.
The Pacers look to cool down the heat when they open a 4-game homestand.
Neesmith with a catch-and-shoot three from the right edge.
It's a rare Saturday night matchup when the Pacers host the Heat. Don't miss the action Saturday at 7.
Goes to Siakam, top of the circle with 4 to shoot. Siakam does, and he hits a 3 from dead on.
Get your tickets at Pacers.com/tickets.
We're under 7 minutes to play in the third quarter. A step-back 3, and Nembhard suddenly is on fire.
Pacers Heat, Saturday at 7.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed or your money back. Only $59.99. Destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, or weight gain, or your money back. Hypnosis January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss of 5:30 p.m., stop smoking at 8. And January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m., stop smoking at 2. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 60% off plus 24 months, same as cash, with 0% interest.
Because at B-Window,
we mean business. We mean business.
Trust me. Home can be the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Indiana's early morning dew.
So the Indiana legislative session has begun. Lots of moving parts, and it is moving quick. Let's get to the bottom of some of the stuff that's going on. Joining us once again, she's one of the best in the business. Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle joins us now. Nikki Kelly, hello.
Hello.
All right, so you guys had an amazing expose. We talked about it at length yesterday on this INDOT hearing in front of transportation in the House, and how they have basically said we're running short on funds and they're going to either cancel or delay 300 projects.
Yeah, they've already canceled or delayed more than 300. That was as of last year. It's much more than that now. They didn't have the exact number during the hearing, but lawmakers seemed pretty concerned about that many projects being impacted.
How, is the economy that bad? Did they budget wrong? Why is this happening?
Well, I think a lot of it is inflation of prices. So maybe projects that they had planned, what they cost in the original estimate is not what it was. Also, the continual issue that we've had with gas tax is that as cars are more fuel efficient, people buy less gas. And so, those two things together are putting a crunch.
In the middle of this article, and this was the most interesting part to me, Jim Pressel, he is the head of transportation in the House. He starts asking about this Mid-States Corridor project, which is this, this big plan to connect 64 to 69. We've been talking a lot about it because the people in Du Bois County are outraged over it. Braun, this poll showing Braun has this high disapproval rating down there. He even said, what are we doing with this? If we don't have money to fund these other projects, why are we keeping this thing going?
Yeah, it was a fascinating interchange. And there was another lawmaker also who said, he thought that the thing was we maintain what we have first, we improve what we have, and the last thing should be building brand new roads. We're clearly not maintaining what we have. And so I think that's the discussion they're having is, why are we talking about $1 billion road that, by the way, is pretty unpopular down south, when we can't do what we already have?
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle joins us now. So did INDOT have an answer for that on why they're going forward with this plan to build a road, as you said, when all these other projects can't take place?
No, basically just said they're still, they're doing environmental studies and things like that. I will point out that obviously this is Governor Reich Braun's administration, but this project began way back, I think in 2017. It's been discussed in some manner since 2000. I think it got sort of the name and all that, the Mid-States Corridor back in 2017 or 18. So this has been, on INDOT's radar for much longer than Governor Mike Braun's tenure.
Okay, the other part of this now, and you guys have written about this amongst others, is that there is now the Braun administration is moving forward with this plan to toll I-70. What do we know about it?
Yeah, we finally got them to admit it on the record. We've asked for this tolling application. They refuse to give it to us. I think that's something the public deserves to see if we're asking another government for a specific plan. But yeah, they've asked to plan I-70. We have no idea. Is it border to border? What would the rates be? I mean, that is all sort of under discussion with the federal government. But I do think, it's fair to start. I think that Hoosiers deserve to know at least what the initial proposal was from the Braun administration.
So they're not telling anybody like where on I-70? Is it the whole stretch of the whole state? Is it a one corridor? Is it like nothing? They're not giving any information on this.
No, not at all.
Do they have a reason for that? Like, is it like Nixon where I got a plan to get out of Vietnam, but you got to, elect me to let me know? Like, why wouldn't they want people to know that?
I mean, the general discussions we've had are just that they feel that it's more deliberative and things could change. And I understand that anything can happen in government work, but, I do think the starting point should be known.
Now, you have ironclad memory, so you'll have to help me on this. But I recall last year when we were talking about this, that the legislature, when they passed this provision to just essentially give the governor carte blanche on the tolling, said, well, this is years down the road. It's not going to happen for a while. This is just when it does happen. He doesn't have to go through us. Seems like they're moving very quickly on this.
Well, and I think it might be partly because of the funding crunch we're seeing, right? Tolling would bring in money to maintain the roads we have and then free up so that maybe we don't have to cancel as many projects, as they are doing.
Now, the beautiful thing for me, Nikki Kelly, since we're in our new studios, I don't need I-70 anymore. 65 is my new preferred route. So as long as they stay away from 65, we're going to be just fine.
I use I-65 every day, too. It has its own
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle joins us. Legislative session back in full force. So tell us about this interesting proposal to change the way we do the death penalty in Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, the state has had trouble procuring the lethal injection drugs. And not only that, when we do procure them, they're very expensive, up to $300,000 a dose. They also expire pretty quickly. So we've spent money that has basically just been wasted because they've expired. I mean, you know how court systems go. You can buy a couple doses in hopes that you'll be able to use it on cases, but the cases take a while to move through the court system. So the bill would allow firing squad as an alternative if the state cannot procure them, or the condemned person can choose the firing squad if they want.
How did the hearing go? I saw obviously like Mike Young was there testifying. Like, is this a thing that's going to move forward, or is this a DOA will deal with it in future years sort of thing?
I think it's got some decent momentum. I think there were obviously some questions about the humaneness of it. I mean, what if the person doesn't die immediately? And there were some comparisons to the electric chair, and we stopped using the electric chair because sometimes it didn't work, and that was considered cruel and unusual punishment. So there's some concern about that. There are only, I think, 4 other states who have it on the books. I think it's only been used once or twice in the modern era, of course. And so I think it's an interesting discussion that I think will definitely continue.
A couple minutes left with Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle, indianacapitalchronicle.com. Tell us about this doxing bill. Obviously, this was a huge deal a couple months ago with these lawmakers voting on redistricting and these threats coming to their houses, and now they're trying to address some of that.
Yeah, they want to criminalize doxing or the posting of personal information, anywhere. Email, it's not just on the internet. If you email it or whatever, and you're trying to threaten someone. My confusion, I don't have any problem with that. Doxing is obviously pretty terrible. But a lot of the discussion in the hearing personally was about the swatting and bomb threats. Those are already illegal. I would love to see an example of doxing that this would actually impact, because you have to put the personal information out there and threaten them. So that would be the basis of the bill. I think they're going to tighten up some language in there. It involved also bringing in, threatening your family or things like that. But it went as far as your coworkers, and I think they're going to tighten down a little bit of who all could be impacted.
Well, yeah, because one of the things with these guys and girls, as part of being an elected official, is their addresses are public record. I mean, the public has a right to know this. So you're right. They really got to get more on this, because there are certain things the public's allowed to know and have information on, and it's not illegal to post that out there.
Right. And if someone just posts saying, hey, this person voted against this bill, here's their address, is that a threat? I mean, how explicit does it have to be? There was definitely going to be some subjectivity in the bill.
Real quick before I let you go, on the doxing, have state police or anybody said anything to you guys about the investigations into this? Has anybody been caught? It doesn't seem like there's been any movement on this.
No, at this point we had numerous bomb threats, swatting attempts with not a single arrest. Last time we checked in with them, they said they're complicated cases and they're definitely working hard on it. I think part of it is probably a lot of these probably involve phone records or internet records, and sometimes subpoenas to get that information back takes a while. That's a little bit of speculation on my point, but yeah, definitely for the amount of press it got, for not a single arrest to have happened so far is pretty interesting.
She is one of the best in the business. Everybody should totally bookmark that very fabulous website. Read it every day. It's a big part of our show. Indiana Capitol Chronicle. Nikki Kelly, thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Indiana winters are when serious plumbing problems show up. Frozen pipes, no hot water, backed up drains. Indiana winters deserve a real local Indiana plumber. Hey, it's Denny Smith, and at my house I use LD Smith Plumbing and Drains. Real, local people answering your call who live, work, and play here. And they're specialists. All they do is water. Call the company I trust, LD Smith Plumbing and Drains, 317-927-7186, ldsmithplumbing.com.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-598-4799. 800-598-4799. 800-598-4799.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Harvey, this African safari is great. We planned just right, so we'll be home for this weekend's Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show out the fairgrounds. Yeah, we were smart to get outfitted for this here safari at the last gun show. Got big game rifles, scopes, custom-loaded bullets, crossbows, knives, even a GPS. Hey, what's that sound? Oh, bet he's after cheetahs. What, Harv? No, he's not with the IRS, you dumb bunny. You hear that? That's a rogue bull elephant, and he's starting to charge. Oh, I missed. What do we do, Harvey? Think outside the box. Well, I did. I just got a bullet out of the box. Give me my crossbow. Well, got him. Yep, he looks pretty sharp in his arrow shirt. What? He's still charging? Well, dang, Harvey, do something. Wow, with only a knife, how did you stop that elephant from charging? Oh, you just cut up his credit cards.
Celebrity voice and imaginary character impersonated. The Indy 1500 Gun, Knife, and Outdoor Show this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the State Fairgrounds.
Hey, you nip it! Of all the times to buy a new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln.
$9,000 off a new Lincoln Corsair, $9,000 off a new Lincoln Nautilus, or $9,000 off a new Lincoln Aviator. Your choice of any of these great luxury cars, $9,000 off. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
Corsair stock number L25277, MSRP 5220. Nautilus stock number L25270, MSRP 57235. Aviator stock number L25246, MSRP 65165. See dealer for complete offer details. Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed or your money back. Only $59.99. Destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, or weight gain, or your money back. Hypnosis January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss of 5:30 p.m., stop smoking at 8. And January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m., stop smoking at 2. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Let's go!
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Call today or go to bwindow.com and receive up to 60% off plus 24 months same as cash with 0% interest.
Because at B-Window,
we mean business. We mean business. Join us every Friday right around 5:50 for Beer Sample Friday.
Brought to you by Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus, home of free delivery within 75 miles of their store.
It's just alcohol. Everybody drinks. You may have already heard this statement from your teen. I'm Tammy Silverman with Indiana Youth Institute. Alcohol is a substance most commonly abused by teens. Survey data shows that 2 in 10 Indiana high school students reported drinking in the past month, and more than half of Hoosier teens say it would be easy to get alcohol. How do you talk with your teen about alcohol use, especially if they see peers or adults drinking? First, understand that your child may point out contradictions in our society's views on alcohol. It's okay to acknowledge those facts. Talk with your teen about the many risks of alcohol use. During your conversation, you can both validate their views and uphold your family values. You are the first line of defense against alcohol abuse, so don't be afraid to talk to your teen. What you say has a big influence on their decision to drink or not. This Kids Count Minute is a message from Indiana Youth Institute. For more parent tips, visit IYI.org.
Kids count on you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Giving his end-of-season presser. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Indianapolis Colts General Manager Chris Ballard speaking to the media today following the end of an 8-9 season and his 9th year in the front office.
The city, our fans want to do good for them. We want to do good for them. And it wasn't good enough. Like at the end of the day, wasn't good enough.
Colts CEO Carly Ursay-Gordon said earlier this week that both Ballard and head coach Shane Steichen will return next season. A person is killed in an accident on I-70 on Indy's southwest side this morning. Indiana State Police say the crash involved a car and a semi-truck. A few members of the Indiana National Guard are off to Romania as part of Operation European Assure, Deter, and Reinforce. About 10 soldiers specializing in firefighting techniques flew out from Indianapolis International Airport this week. And Bruno Mars is going on tour this year. It includes a stop at Lucas Oil Stadium in September. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Okay, so Ethan and I had an interesting conversation during the break, and I thought it would be valuable to the masses. By the way, it's Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's out. Ethan Hatcher's in for Casey. Kev is here. One of the things that Trump has done a lot of things well in the first year. I think you and I would agree that the border is infinitely better. I think we would agree his fight to get people that are illegally in this country out of the country is infinitely better. Try to put some level of safeguards around people legally coming into this country is infinitely better. And I think by and large, people not looking at America as a joke. You always hear, America's not as respected under Trump. No, America's feared under Trump. And I want America to be feared. I think all of those things are much better under Donald Trump. However, the thing that he will probably be judged by when the election rolls around and the issue that got him elected, I don't think he's done a very good job at, Ethan, which is this rising cost of basics when it comes to living people living their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, that's very correct, especially in the case of insurance. But that's not entirely Donald Trump's fault, because this system was screwed up as soon as the so-called Affordable Health Care Act, better known as Obamacare, was passed back in, 2009, 2010?
Yeah, but you know the deal. And you're absolutely right. The Obamacare has done nothing to make insurance more affordable. It was all a big lie. Everybody with the IQ of 13 or above knew it was a lie. It has done nothing to rein in the cost of health care. It's just made insurance companies very rich. But you know as well as I do, the people who are in charge get both the credit and the blame. And when you couple the fact that basic necessities, the cost of living, appear to be continuing to rise, and outside of the stock market, which for some reason the stock market continues to do very, very well, I don't think Main Street is doing all that great. I don't think the day-to-day buying power of Americans is doing all that great. And then when you couple that with the rising cost of basic necessities, which we're about to get into with you here in a second, I just don't think it's going to be a great sales pitch for him this fall that he hasn't delivered on that key thing.
Well, and I will add that Donald Trump does assume some level of responsibility for the current state of Obamacare, because Republicans were a hair's breadth away from repealing the entire damn law and rebuilding it from the ground up, were it not for the personality conflict that he had gotten into with John McCain, who became the deciding vote. And despite his antipathy toward Obamacare, he hated Donald Trump more and apparently didn't care about the American people enough to do the right thing and became the thumb down deciding vote.
Yeah, you're right. And again, Republicans have talked for 15 years about repealing Obamacare, and how many times have they had the opportunity to do it, either to control the House or the Senate, or in some cases both, and the presidency, and they've done nothing with it. But one of the things you were telling me was, because we went through this here at work, where they basically had a 30% rise in insurance cost, and people such as myself were like, okay, can't really absorb that. I'm going to have to downgrade this insurance, hope for the best, whatever. But you were saying, because you, as a small business owner, buy your insurance on the open market.
Correct. Through Ambetter.
What the hell is Ambetter?
Ambetter is the company.
Oh, okay. So, is there a website? How does it explain to me how it works? I think so many people hear about Obamacare, the marketplace, or is there a website? How does it work?
It's been so long since I've actually had to use the marketplace. I got Ambetter going on 8 or 9 years ago, and I've just kept the same plan parked since I got it from the Obamacare marketplace the first time. It has been more judicious for me, I think, and just simpler to keep the same plan. I have basic health coverage. I have dental and vision included.
Okay. And you're not some Cadillac plan, right?
No. Couldn't afford the Cadillac plan. I can barely afford the basic plan.
Yeah.
It shot up this past November by $100. That's $1,200 extra a year just going to this very basic plan.
Right.
So spending about $5,500 a year now just on healthcare. And, I can think of many things that I would rather be spending $5,000 a year on. Could buy a pretty nice phonograph for $5,000, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay, so that was you got ahead of me there, which is, you told me you were paying $350 a month.
Yes.
As a single guy for basic health insurance.
And now I'm paying $450 a month some change.
It went up to $450 a month, $100 a month increase. And this is part of what I come back to, when you look at things like the rising cost of food, or in this case, health insurance, or mortgages, all of these, or homeowners insurance, all of these things are costing people not just a little more, a lot more, and you're not getting anything better for it, whether it's at the grocery store or the house you're living in, or in this case, your health insurance. All of this money is evaporating, and for most people, their salaries are not keeping up with the rising cost of basic goods, which is diluting the buying power of Americans.
And you can trace this line directly back to Obama, who promised that pre-existing conditions would be covered. And so everyday average hardworking Americans with very minimal health problems, if any, are now subsidizing the cost of other individuals. And this was something that Obama knew about. This was something that Democrats knew about, and they included subsidies in the insurance programs from the federal federal government, so you're just paying the taxes in another form, but to help defer the upfront and immediate cost of those services in the form of insurance. And those subsidies were allowed to elapse and allowed to sunset. Of course, they weren't renewed, and Democrats were very emphatic about their desire to continue the subsidies, but that's not really changing the cost formula. The services still are outrageously expensive, and now average Americans are being forced to bear that burden, such as myself.
All right, we got one more segment to go in the program. Let's take a break. When we come back, I want to get back to some local stuff. A local state senator who did the big crocodile tears during redistricting, big crying mess when he was casting his vote on redistricting, said he'd had enough of this, the politics, he was all done. Now he's changed his mind.
Lying politicians? You're kidding.
So we'll talk about that. I want to get your opinion on the state potentially moving to the firing squad as a means of death penalty. We'll talk a little bit more about this potential to raise our taxes by tolling Interstate 70. We'll get to all that and more. Ethan's in for Casey, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show back at it 3 o'clock this afternoon. FOP President Rick Snyder scheduled to join us. Rob Kendall scheduled to join us. Let's have a day.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in tax debt? Do not ignore this message. The IRS has more power than any collection agency in America. Often without warning, they can garnish your wages, levy your bank account, place a lien on your home, seize assets like your business, and revoke your passport. Every year, thousands lose their paychecks overnight or have their assets seized because they waited too long. You don't have to face the IRS alone. Call Federated Tax today. We'll connect you with an experienced tax professional who will negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. You may qualify for IRS hardship programs like the Fresh Start Initiative or many other programs that can stop garnishments, stop bank account seizures, reduce or eliminate penalties, and lower your settlement amount. You deserve to maintain your life. Don't let the IRS take it over. Make the call today to Federated Tax, 370-1384. The call and consultation are absolutely free. 800-370-1384. 800-370-1384.
It's not just cancer care, it's the complete care you get at Hendricks.
And you can feel that spirit of excellence, trying to do what's best from a medical standpoint, but also trying to affect the patient and their family as you would a family member.
Hendricks Care is trying to meet the patient where they are.
You know your body better than anyone else.
Do the cancer screening early.
An ounce of prevention versus a pound of cure.
Learn about health screenings at hendricks.org/cancer.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here with an offer that's not blowing smoke. My friends at Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling want you to stay safe and warm this winter and have an offer for just that. Hope will give you up to $1,500 for your old furnace for a full replacement system installation. So if your furnace is on the fritz, now's the time to take advantage before it's too late. Call Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. That's 641-HOPE. That's 641-HOPE.
Serving Indiana means being ready for growing energy demands. At Duke Energy, we're adding more power to the grid and working on hundreds of local projects to make your energy more reliable. We've strengthened nearly 20,000 poles, updated more than 270 substations, and prevented hundreds of thousands of outage hours with self-healing grid technology, so your power can come back on faster than ever. That's the smarter energy future Indiana deserves. Paid for by Duke Energy shareholders.
When it's cold, the last thing you want is your home's heater to quit on you. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our team of comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. From simple repairs to more complex fixes, we'll get you warm and comfortable quickly. Just call 855-1HOUR or visit onehourair.com. Don't forget, we're
Always on time, or you don't pay a dime. Always on time, or you don't pay a dime.
independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Mark your calendar for January 24th at the Hyatt Regency for a night of insight and flair with Tony Katz. Trump 1 year later. VIP and GA tickets are available. WIBC.com for more info. Presented by Defiance Beef Company, Premier Arms and Chimney Solutions.
You know, one of the biggest problems with our government and its makeup is these politicians who will not go away. And we talked about this before. By the way, it's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. Ethan's in for Casey today. I've talked about this a lot on this show, and I saw this when I was an elected person. And when I ran for public office, I said very, very loudly when I was running, I will do this one term. And I said, one term and then done, because by doing that, you eliminate all leverage anyone can have over you. There's literally nothing for them to threaten you with. They can't threaten to run somebody against you or hold money from you or hold an endorsement from you. And this is what you see, what I saw and have continued to see is these people who become politicians, and I'm talking about the local level, the city, the county, the state reps and senators, all the way up to the federal level. And it's pretty pathetic, and these people are really shameful individuals. The elected office and holding that office defines them. It becomes their existence. And so much of this is like a lot of these politicians, these political people, they were nerds growing up. They weren't the popular kids. They weren't the powerful kids. They weren't the cool kids. And this is their first and in many cases only opportunity to be somebody. And they become this very sad person where they crave the attention, the power that the office brings them, and they simply won't go away or give it up. Not because they enjoy it or have the passion for it anymore. They just crave the thing that it gives them.
The office becomes the defining characteristic of their entire being, and that's had disastrous consequences for the rest of us, because then they will do anything to continue holding on to the power, and even if that results in screwing over the constituents that helped put them in there.
Yeah, and in my case, when my term was done, a lot of people wanted me to run for state senate, and I began the process of doing that. And then an opportunity to go back to radio came up, and I said, oh, thank God, because I really didn't want to spend 4 to 6 more years going through this anymore, because I've done it, and it's time to move on. And in hindsight, made the right choice. We put a number one radio show out there, and that ended up being the right thing to do. But these politicians, so many of them just can't let go of the thing. And I mention this because Greg Walker, who is a Republican from Columbus, who has been in the Senate since the earth was young. I was in college when Greg Walker first was elected to the Senate in 2006. He has announced after this big announcement that he wasn't going to run again. 20 years had been enough, 5 terms. He does this big tearful speech during redistricting about how horrible this whole thing is.
He got a Golden Globe out of that.
Yeah, and he said, I changed my mind. I'm going to go for term number 6. And I'm just looking at this going, get a life, man. Find something else productive to do. Whatever you intended to do when you ran. If you haven't done it in 20 years, Ethan, that is enough time. Your time is up. It is time for you to go home.
Yeah, I think 20 years is probably enough for anybody to be in an elected political office.
But these guys, they just can't let it go, and it's pathetic. So he is going to be running. Michelle Davis, who is a state rep from down there, had already announced she was going to run for that seat. She says she's still running. So we will have a very contested primary down there in Columbus this year. Okay, Kendall Casey show. Ethan's in for Casey. One of the things we talked about with Nikki Kelly in a segment earlier this hour is that there is a big push now to move Indiana, at least in part, away from lethal injection by means of the death penalty and over to the firing squad. There was testimony on this. It appears there's at least some momentum for this bill to get it out of committee. Now, whether it passes the full bodies of Congress, or the House, Senate, they're a long way away from that. However, I have to say on the surface, I don't have any problem with this because I'm not a person who believes the death penalty. If you've done something that deserves the death penalty, I'm not a person that believes it should be painless. You caused harm and suffering to someone else. Why am I worried about how your execution is carried out?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to using a firing squad for the death penalty. And also with modern technology available at our disposal, I don't even think that you have to involve other people in the firing squad. I mean, you can just put firearms behind, automatically controlled robots and push the button and let them do the work. I mean, for that matter, I would also be for a 300 styled deep pit that you can just boom, kick these people into and let them fall down the pit.
Well,
This is Sparta.
Well, I mean, it is fascinating, right? Because our state claims they have no money. They had to raise taxes by $1 billion to pay the bills. And if you were to say, well, these drugs, one, you have trouble getting them, that they carry out the lethal injections with. So one, you have trouble getting the drugs, but two, they're very expensive. Well, bullets not nearly as expensive as that, and it's pretty easy and pretty quick.
We could also get different drugs. I'm told fentanyl is extremely cheap, and people are overdosing on that all the time. Just pump it full of fentanyl and call it a day.
That should be, if you run for public office, that should be the center point of your campaign. Just pump them full of fentanyl and call it a day. Vote Hatcher. I bet people would flock to that campaign.
Well, all the time you're saying that you need to be able to put your campaign issues and write them down on a napkin.
That's right.
And that fits on inside of a napkin.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Okay, one other thing I wanted to touch you, and we've talked about it numerous times throughout the course of the program today, but is this plan now that the Braun administration has come out that they are lobbying the federal government to allow them to increase tolling? And look, the thing is what it is, but my issue is the complete lack of transparency where they're not telling anyone where they want to toll. You're going to do whatever you're going to do. You were totally dishonest about the plan to do it, including the people who passed the bill last year. Because remember last year they were like, well, this is just for planning purposes. There's no imminent plan to toll anything. This is just to eliminate red tape in the future. That way, when the House and because what the bill did is it gave up any oversight the legislature has over tolling. It is now exclusively in the hands of the governor. If he can get the federal government to go along with whatever it is, there's no oversight whatsoever. And they said, well, this is for planning purposes. We're eliminating red tape. It's years away. Ethan, last I checked, 26 was just 1 year from 25, and they're already going for the tolling. But they're such shady bastards that they won't even tell the people of Indiana what parts of I-70 they want to toll.
Is that true? Because I thought they were incredibly specific about where they wanted to toll, which was every single highway in Indiana. I-70, I-65, I-465, I-69, all of them at the same time. I think unless I'm hallucinating it, I remember reading articles that it would make Indiana the first state in the union to toll every single highway in their state boundary.
Well, and look, the roads never seem to get any better. And we talked about that earlier this week. I think that's where people's frustration is that the roads never seem to get any better. What is the return on investment? We keep paying more, but we don't seem to be able to get more. All right, great job, brother.
Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, Kev, excellent job as always.
I may or may not be back tomorrow. We'll see.
Stick around. Most important part, well, I should say thank you to you, the listener. Without you, there is no us. Stick around. Tony Katz coming up next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979